A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. Rupert Barlow, the wealthy man about town, who has tried for months to win Mary Noble's romantic interest, believes that he now has a perfect plan for getting his own way. For Larry Noble is being held by the police for the murder of his leading lady's husband. Right now, in the library of his luxurious Long Island estate at Oyster Bay, Rupert Barlow is reading by the fireplace when he is interrupted by his secretary and housekeeper, Julia Dixon, who for some years has hoped her employer would ask her to marry him.
So you're finally spending a little time at home, Rupert.
Oh, good morning, Julia.
I wondered if you were ever going to come back.
Don't tell me my absence has bothered you.
It makes it awkward in running the house.
Oh, I'm sure you can manage beautifully, Julia. You always have.
Yes. Good old Julia Dixon. She's always to be depended on, isn't she? She's so used to being Rupert Barlow's doormat that she'll never change.
Can't you ever talk of anything else, Julia, particularly right now when I'm so weighted down with other worries?
Well, don't add me to your other worries, Rupert. I just thought you might like to know that I'm leaving here.
What? Are you out of your mind?
Not at all. For the first time in 10 years, I'm seeing everything in its true light.
Oh, we talked that all out the other day. You know that it wouldn't do for you to leave here, not now. Not until the murder of that Oliver Wilson person is settled, one way or the other.
You mean not until Larry Noble is convicted?
I mean not until the facts are fully established. You must realize that you're likely at any time to be brought into this case, far more seriously than you have been up to now.
You think I might be accused of killing Oliver Wilson?
Don't you? Isn't there every possibility? After all, you fell for the man, and when he ran off and married Larry Noble's leading lady, Claudia Vincent, you were beside yourself with rage.
You'd like for me to be brought into the case, wouldn't you? You'd like to pay me back for the one time I tried to break away from you.
Oh, you're being hysterical, Julia. I wish you'd try to get a better grip on yourself. Now, these are difficult days, and I can't answer for your safety unless you try to do as I say.
How do I know that you're interested in my safety?
My dear Julia, you know perfectly well that I shall do everything in my power to keep you from being too deeply involved in this murder. If you choose to desert me at this time, then all I can say is you may have reason to regret it.
You mean you'd throw me to the wolves if I dared to leave you now?
I said nothing of the kind.
Well, then what did you mean, Rupert?
Oh, you work it out for yourself, Julia. Right now, I'm expecting an important visitor. I do hope you'll arrange to see that we're not disturbed.
Of course. I have no intention of interrupting you, Rupert.
Good. I have business to attend to here.
Does that mean you'll be home all day? And for dinner?
It's too soon to tell. Don't depend on me.
As if I ever could. All right, Rupert. Go your own way. And I have a very good idea where that way leads. Directly to Mary Noble's door. Isn't that true?
For your information, I'm helping Mary to get a suitable legal counsel for her husband's trial. Surely even you can't object to that.
Not at all. And I'm sure you'll do everything you can to get Larry Noble acquitted. You're so anxious to have him freed, aren't you, Rupert?
About as anxious as you are yourself, I'd say, Julia. If that answers your question.
It does. Perfectly. And I understand the threat implied. You always hold the winning cards, don't you, Rupert? I wonder how you'd take it if you ever lost.
And this same morning, we find Mary visiting her husband, Larry, in a room of the city jail in New York. Larry notices her face is paler than usual, and that the strain of his forthcoming trial is beginning to tell on her. And he says,
"You'd better try to take it a little easy, Mary. It won't help to have you break down even before the trial's underway."
I'm all right, darling. There's no reason to worry about me. If only I could do something to hurry this trial, to get it over with. Or to find the guilty person and bring him to justice.
It's a fine, lofty idea, but it's not very practical, Mary.
I know. I'm so absolutely at a loss when it comes to helping you. And that's the only thing in the world that matters to me right now.
I don't know that there is any way to help me, sweetheart, except by sticking by me.
You know there'll never be any question of that.
Darling, that's what I hoped you'd say. It's the only thing that gives me the courage to go on.
But how can you ever doubt that I'll stick by you, dearest? Don't you know that I believe in your innocence with all my heart?
Do you? You quite sure?
Of course. Why do you ask?
I was just wondering if your confidence could be just the least bit shaky after hearing so many stories about me. And about my supposed indiscretions with Claudia Vincent, my leading lady and the wife of the man I'm accused of murdering.
I've never believed any gossip about you, Larry, no matter what the source.
Are you entirely sure in your mind, as well as in your heart, that I'm blameless when it comes to being interested in Claudia Vincent?
I don't know. I only know that I don't think you killed her husband, Oliver Wilson.
I see. It's not quite the same, but I guess I'll have to accept whatever solace I can from your words, Mary.
Darling, tell me what I can do to help. I feel so useless, so entirely incompetent. Have you decided that you'll accept the lawyer, Clarence Brewster, if he agrees to take the case?
So he hasn't agreed as yet. Isn't that fine? A good, upstanding lawyer like Clarence Brewster hesitates to defend me in a murder case. And yet he's defended hundreds of men and women, knowing full well that they weren't exactly innocent.
Rupert says he's confident that Mr. Brewster will take the case. And if he does, he's sure to have you acquitted.
Maybe. But the world will always believe that I did kill Oliver Wilson, won't they? You know, it's strange the different forms the wish to help me has taken. Rupert Barlow wants me to have Clarence Brewster take the case as my lawyer. Sergeant Riley wants me to plead guilty and try to get off with a light sentence.
Larry, no. Certainly you wouldn't consider such a thing.
Oh, I don't know. Why not? If there's any question of my guilt, why wouldn't it be easier that way, with a few years to serve, instead of being let off through Brewster's ways and be guilty in the eyes of the world anyhow, in addition to being in debt to Rupert Barlow for years to come?
I won't have you thinking things like that, Larry.
Well, let's not talk about it anymore. How's Larry Jr.? How's everything at home?
Darling, I don't know what to do about Larry Jr. Of course, your arrest is being talked about all over Rosehaven. Larry Jr. hears it. I thought it might be a good idea if I brought him to New York for a time. We'd be so much closer to you.
How do you think you could manage that, Mary?
Oh, it would be quite simple, really. That is, if I could persuade Maud Marlowe to agree to come with us.
Come where? And what does Maud have to do with it?
I wouldn't accept without Maud. You see, Rupert has offered to let us live in his New York apartment. It would be very convenient. And it might be good for Larry Jr. right now. Don't you think?
Rupert, always Rupert. Isn't there anybody in the world you can turn to instead of Rupert Barlow?
Well, no one else has offered so much help. No one else has wanted to take the trouble.
Have you ever stopped to consider why?
Of course. Rupert Barlow has tried to help because he's a very good friend. No matter what you think of him, he's the finest friend we have today.
At this same time, Rupert Barlow is welcoming a visitor into his library. And as he closes the door, we hear...
Oh, Clarence Brewster. So you did get here after all.
Who could fail to come when the great Rupert Barlow commands?
All right, suppose we forget the asides and get right to the point.
By all means, Rupert. By all means.
Have a spot of brandy or something first?
Delighted.
All right. I'll fix it for you.
You do make yourself comfortable, Rupert. I've often envied you. If I hadn't had to work all my life slaving as a lawyer to get anything at all, I'd have enjoyed life a lot more.
No, I don't know about that, Clarence. There you are. Seems to me you've done very well. There isn't a defense lawyer I know of who can touch you.
A lot of them wouldn't want to. I'm under no illusions, Rupert, about my reputation. But I'm more interested in success. So there you have it.
Exactly. Now, I want you to take on this Larry Noble murder case just as I put it up to you the other day.
I don't see how I can do it, Rupert. The way you put it amounts practically to, well, dishonesty of a sort.
Not at all. The man's guilty, and there's no question about it. He killed his leading lady's husband because of jealousy. I want him to have an able defense, but at the same time...
You want the man to get a conviction, don't you?
He'll get it in any case.
Then why bring me into it? You know I based my reputation on winning cases, not losing them.
Oh, there must be an occasional exception, Clarence.
I tell you, Rupert, I could only take this case if I had a free hand. If I did my utmost to have Larry Noble acquitted.
Oh, you're not talking for publication now, Clarence, so you can forget that sanctimonious tone. I'm talking straight. Do you want this case on my terms or not? Now, remember that I've helped you considerably in the past.
You make it very difficult for me. I'd like to oblige and all that, but at the same time, the damage to my prestige.
I'm prepared to pay you very well. So let's not waste any more time. Is it yes or no?
And Clarence Brewster twirls the crystal brandy glass in his hand as he considers. Rupert Barlow waits with carefully concealed anxiety, happy to seal the fate of Larry Noble because of his interest in Larry's wife, Mary. Be sure to be listening tomorrow to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband, Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.
In just a moment, X-1. But first, an important subject in these days of snow and blizzard is how to fight the common cold. And tomorrow, NBC's Weekday deals with this problem in a special feature by Dr. Leona Baumgartner, New York City Health Commissioner. Yes, it's NBC's Weekday to keep you up to date in every field, from health to housekeeping, from politics to pots and pans. And there's also the best variety entertainment on Weekday, tomorrow headed by Metropolitan Opera star Robert Merrill. Listen every Monday through Friday to NBC's Weekday. And now stay tuned for X-1.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight's story, $1,000 a Plate by Jack McKenty.
Ferry ship from Deimos Space Station carrying cargo and passengers from Earth now arriving in Blasting Pit 6. Radiation clearance and quarantine officers report to passenger conveyor. Mars Airways to New Chicago, Port Kelly, Marsport Park, New Amityville, and Nova Massapequa. Take off in 15 minutes. All aboard.
Excuse me, sir. Could you help me?
Sure, buddy. What'll it be? Cards? Dice? A little shot of distilled hackberry?
No, I just wondered if you could direct me.
Brother, you came to the right man. I can direct you anywhere you want to go. That's what I'm here for. You just get off the ferry?
Yes, I came on the Phobos Queen.
Yeah. You know you can spot him in my business. All right, what'll it be now?
Well, I want to know how I can get to the observatory.
The what?
The Mars Observatory. You know, the Astronomical Research Center.
What do you want to go there for?
I work there, or at least I will.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of them double-dome stargazers, huh?
Yes, I'm an astronomer.
Yeah, I heard there was a lot of you guys out there under glass, but I don't get out of town much. I got to keep my hand in, you know. Are you sure you wouldn't like a little flutter before you settle down in your rut?
No, I never play cards. Occasionally a little chess.
Uh-huh. I don't know if they got any chess in any of the casinos, but if you want, I could arrange it. You know, play against the house, $5 apiece for the kitty, and a C-note for checkmate.
No, thank you. Can you direct me to the observatory?
Well, you'll have to get a sand hack. None of the regular buses go by there. They just hit the casinos on the strip. Hey, I'll tell you what. The next ferry won't clear for another half hour. I'll walk you over to the hack stand.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you, Mr.
Just call me Pusher. It's on account of my occupation, you know.
Oh, I see. I'm Enright C. Bensinger, Dr. Bensinger.
Well, it's a pleasure, Doc. Right this way.
Well, this isn't exactly what I expected.
Your first trip to Mars, huh?
Yes, it is.
Well, you'll get used to it. Out this way. Adjust your gills.
Gills?
Sure. But what do you think you're going to breathe outside that door? There isn't enough oxygen on Mars to keep a mouse alive. They gave you a standard issue when you got off the ferry. It's in that bag.
Oh. Yes, I'm afraid I was reading when they explained it. The quarterly journal from the Harvard Observatory, you know.
Hmm? Oh, yeah. I never miss a copy. Now, look, you put the nose clip in, see, and crack the valve. This way it compresses enough air to keep you going. Okay? All right, let's go.
Cold.
Sure, it's cold. Sand hacks are right up the street there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All the colors in the sky. I am surprised, though, in an atmosphere this thin, the sunset shouldn't be as spectacular.
That ain't the sunset, Chief. That's the new sign on top of the Canal Casino. Right there behind you, see?
Fun.
Yeah, but if you want a square shake with the dice, you go to Harry Harvey's place, the Red Sands Hotel.
I suppose the seeing is excellent.
You're telling me. You know, he's got a line of girls like you never seen nowhere else.
Oh, I'm afraid I meant astronomical seeing. The telescopes, you know.
Hey, you got an idea there. Telescopes.
What's that?
Nothing. Fireworks. It's a Mardi Gras.
So what?
Mardi Gras. You know, big party all over town. Parades, costumes, liquor, fireworks, gambling. You know, big celebration.
Well, what's the occasion?
An eclipse of the two moons.
Oh, but that occurs very frequently.
Oh, sure. You'd be surprised how much a Mardi Gras ups to take on the strip. Well, here are the sand hacks, and look, don't let them hackies charge you more than $15 for the trip. Just tell them you know me. Just tell them Pusher sent you.
Gentlemen, I want you all to meet Dr. Bensinger, our new colleague. These are Drs. Fitz, Spiegel, Ortney, and Klein. I'm sorry to introduce you to our team at such a critical moment, but our situation is rather desperate.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Spiegel, show Dr. Bensinger your plate.
Here, just look at this. Just look. It took me 8 weeks working with the computer to plot this plate, and look.
It seems fogged. These streaks, I don't believe I've ever seen them on an astronomical photograph before. What are they?
Skyrockets, that's what they are. Skyrockets. Morton, I tell you that they fired them in our direction on purpose.
All right. Calm down, Spiegel.
Calm down? Do you realize that it will be 12 years before this particular conjunction can be photographed again? Morton, you've got to do something.
Couldn't you write a little note to the Chamber of Commerce and ask them to eliminate the fireworks?
We've written a note every time a small boy lets off a Roman candle, and it was no use.
I tell you, they fire them this way on purpose.
I'm afraid that's true. The other directions around town are either oil refineries or homes of the casino owners.
I don't suppose there's any chance of moving the observatory, then, out into the desert.
My dear Dr. Bensinger, we'd have to bring in crews to tear it down, other crews to move it and set it up, not to mention breakage and replacement, which would involve more freight from Earth at $7.97 per pound, dead weight. As it is, the immense costs add up to a staggering total. Do you know what a single photographic plate costs us, counting overhead? $1,000.
Well, then what is the answer?
Another letter to the town council, I suppose. Let me write it this time, Dr. Morton. My grandmother used to have several rather picturesque phrases which I believe I could translate.
No, Spiegel. Dignity, remember? We are an adjunct of Harvard University. Dr. Spiegel, I shall ask you and Dr. Bensinger to accompany me in person to the town council. Surely they cannot turn down a rational request in the interest of science.
Well, gentlemen, the town council appreciates the problem.
Yes, I felt certain it would. Naturally, you're aware of the importance of astronomical research, Mr. Harvey.
Well, I can see your point, Doc. You sit out there in your little glass hut, pointing your brownie camera up at the stars, snapping away. But you got to look at our point of view.
Oh?
Now you take my place. Harvey's Red Sands. I got a heavy investment. 14 crap tables, a half a dozen roulette wheels, and the rest of the overhead. I got to keep them wheels running. It's the Mardi Gras that drags the suckers in.
But really, Mr. Harvey, we were just asking you to curtail the pyrotechnic display.
Now, wait just a minute. I'm as clean living as the next guy.
Oh, Dr. Benzinger means the fireworks.
Oh. Well, I'd like to help you out, boys, but I look at it this way. Those stars you're looking at are going to be up there for a couple of 1,000 years. But a sucker is different. You got to grab him while he's still healthy.
But in the interest of science, surely the town council can't agree with you.
Doc, the town council's made up of Joe Rocco, Pete Carney, Alex the Armenian, and me. We own the 4 biggest houses in town. So go ahead, fellas. Take all them snapshots you want to. If you happen to lower your telescope, get a couple of good ones through a window of the Grand Canal Hotel. I'll take a couple of 8x10 enlargements. I'll see you around, Doc.
Well, I'm afraid the town council was no help.
They just remain insensible to reason.
Well, I'm afraid the only thing those gentlemen understand is money.
My dear Dr. Benzinger, the smallest bet allowed in Mr. Harvey's establishment is approximately the same as your monthly salary.
Oh. Dr. Morton, suppose the gambling operators were suddenly to lose a great deal of money.
They never do.
Of course, with the ordinary layman playing against them. But suppose the best scientific brains were to concentrate on a simple matter like the probabilities of a given roulette wheel, or the combinations and permutations applicable to a game of poker. We could put the main computer on it.
Doctor, are you seriously suggesting...
Well, I think he's got a point. If we could give those casinos a shellacking, they might stop the fireworks just to get rid of us.
Now, let me get this straight, Doc. All you eggheads up there made up a kitty to get into a crap game?
Well, that's right. I thought you might direct me to the largest establishment, Mr. Harvey's place, I believe.
Now, look, Doc, come over here. Mm-hmm. No, over here in the corner. Now, look, I'm a pusher. See, my job is to take these tourists by the lapel and shove them in front of a dice table quick, before they spend any of their lettuce foolishly on food and lodging. But these rubes, they come here expecting to get took. They don't miss it, you understand? It's all part of a good time. But you guys out there running your Harvard peekaboo racket, you're different. Now, what do you want to get mixed up in this for? You take your peanuts home and shove it in a piggy bank. Save up and buy yourself a new telescope or something.
I appreciate your solicitude, Mr. Pusher, but I'm quite determined. Which way is Mr. Harvey's place?
Well, if you've made up your mind, the bus leaves from right over there in about 15 minutes. Get a round-trip ticket, because Mr. Harvey don't want no suckers stuck without they got car fare away from his place.
I shouldn't worry about that. Frankly, I expect to leave Mr. Harvey flat broke. I'll see you just before dawn. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
But what happened?
Luckily, a certain Mr. Pusher was generous enough to lend me $15 for a sand hack. Otherwise, I would have had to walk.
Well, that was rather decent of him.
Well, not exactly. He said he gets a percentage when he pulls in a ripe chump.
You mean it's all gone?
Every dollar. I just can't understand it. I kept careful notes. I followed the formula that was worked out by the computer. I calculated the odds by slide rule, carrying them to the 4th and 5th decimal place. I just can't understand it. Mr. Pusher said that I had a frigid digit.
A what?
A cold finger. I gather that's the opposite of a hot hand.
But according to the games theory as outlined in the last International Congress of Theoretical Mathematics...
Unfortunately, at the last Mathematical Congress, they weren't trying to make a 4 the hard way.
There they go again, skyrockets. I was hoping to get at least 3 plates in before they started.
And the crushing blow occurred when Mr. Pusher offered to sell me my horoscope.
No.
Yes. Oh. He said anyone was a fool to get into a dice game if the stars weren't right.
Now, there's an example of what we're up against. Medieval superstition existing side by side with hydrozyme rockets and nuclear space drives. Shocking!
I'm not so sure. Might be a good idea.
Dr. Morton sent for the staff psychiatrist. Benzinger has scratched his reflector.
No, gentlemen. Pusher was right. Every man who's going to gamble should have a horoscope. It's very important to know what the stars say.
What are you talking about?
And where on Mars is the place best equipped to tell you what the stars say?
Oh, no.
Dr. Benzinger.
Gentlemen, I tell you, it may be a stroke of genius. Hello? Is this the advertising office? This is Dr. Benzinger. I should like to place an ad. No. No, there will be no pretty girl. Just this. Free. For the first time ever, your horoscope scientifically cast by the staff of the famous Mars Observatory. Learn your luck, your future. Write or call Mars Observatory. No charge, no obligation. Yes, thank you. I'd like to run that every day until further notice.
Pusher.
Yeah, Mr. Harvey.
Did you do like I said?
Yes, sir. I went out to the observatory just like you told me. You know, I had to share the sand hack with 5 other guys. I understand the bus company's putting a route out there.
A big crowd, huh?
Sure, Mr. Harvey. You know, them horoscopes they're giving there, the only thing on Mars that don't cost the tourists any money.
All right. What happened?
Well, when I got out there was this Doc Benzinger. You see, all dressed up in a dunce cap with stars on it or something, in a big robe. They showed us all around the place. You never saw telescopes as big as that.
All right. Skip the travel line.
All right. Well, finally, they took my name and my birth date, my collar size, and they run it through this computer. You should have seen that thing. Lights and bells. I'm telling you, it looked like the biggest pinball machine you ever saw. I kept waiting for it to tilt.
The horoscope.
Yeah, well, they give it to me finally. I mean, the first couple of pages is the ordinary bourgeois about the sun and the moon and the stars. But on the 4th page, that's the kicker.
What'd it say?
Well, it said that I'd be real lucky at most of the gambling places, but I'd lose my shirt at... boss, you're not going to like this.
Go ahead.
I'd lose my shirt if I played at Harry Harvey's place.
Pretty shrewd. You know, for a bunch of scientists, they're pretty smart. That isn't going to work. Who in his right mind is going to pay attention to a lot of hooey like that?
Sure, Mr. Harvey. Can I go now?
What's your hurry?
Well, I'm going over to Purple Flamingo to play a little poker. I mean, after all, they say I'll be lucky any place but here. I mean, you can't argue with science.
Gentlemen, I think we're on our way. I checked Mr. Harvey's establishment. You could shoot an elk in the gambling room.
Empty, eh?
There was nobody playing but an elderly masochist who likes to lose.
Dr. Morton, we have a visitor.
Benzinger, I have asked you please to take off that confounded astrologer's hat when you come into my office. It embarrasses me.
Oh, I'm sorry. But, Doctor, allow me to present Mr. Harry Harvey.
Hiya.
How's business, Mr. Harvey?
Yeah. Well, look, gentlemen, let's put our cards on the table. You put a hole in my pocket like I haven't had since I once ran into an honest police lieutenant in Cincinnati.
I presume you've come about our horoscope.
Yeah. Let's shoot or get off the foul line. How much?
I beg your pardon?
How much will it take to lay off?
Mr. Harvey, just a promise.
What?
You're on the town council, Mr. Harvey. Now, the next time the question of tourist entertainment is discussed, we want you to vote against any fireworks display.
Well, sure, that's no problem, but look, I'm only one vote.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Harvey. Every one of the casino owners on the council will have his turn to be mentioned in the stars.
Yeah? You going to knock us all one by one like a flight of ducks?
Well, that's the general idea.
I got to hand it to you. I got to take off my hat to you.
Mr. Harvey, we're desperate. We cannot afford to let valuable and irreplaceable photographic plates be spoiled by fireworks.
Okay, you win. But listen, here's $5 bills.
$500? But we couldn't take it, Mr. Harvey. I've already explained.
It's not for me. I want you to take a full-page ad and do the Purple Flamingo in your next horoscope. I'd like to see Joe Rocco's face when he gets a load of it.
All right, Mr. Harvey. We'd be glad to take him next.
Oh, and one more thing before I go. Can I look through the telescope? I never looked through one before.
Well, that's the last of them. The Red Sands, Frank Land's Paradise, the Martian Gardens, the Two Moons Club.
And the Purple Flamingo. Dr. Morton, we've got them all.
There will be a meeting of the town council a week from now, and after that, no more fireworks. All those beautiful stars and nebulae and not a misbegotten skyrocket to stand between us. Oh, it's
beautiful.
Gentlemen, I have some news for you.
You have?
I am in receipt of an interplanetary radiogram from our parent organization, the Harvard Observatory.
Are they going to send the new mass spectroscope?
Please. Morton, Earth newspapers carrying accounts of horoscopes published by your organization. Very unscientific. Harvard Board of Overseers aghast. Must stop at once. Find other solution. Signed, L.K. Bell, Director.
Well, I thought Thursday was the regular day for personal message delivery.
It is.
Oh, Mr. Harvey.
I asked Mr. Harvey to wait in the washroom. He brought the message down.
Oh, sure. All of us have contacts in the radio office. We can get a hold of messages a couple of days before they clear.
Did you come down to gloat over our misfortune, Mr. Harvey?
No. You got my promise to help you boys, and I'll stick by you. But the rest of them, well, it's tough, fellas, but business is business. I'm afraid the fireworks will go on as usual.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey.
Look, what would happen if you brought all the boys out here, showed them around, and then you could offer to name a star after them or something? I'd sure like to be able to point in the sky and say, that's Harvey's star.
Well, Mr. Harvey, I'm afraid any stars worth looking at with the naked eye already have names. Besides, Harvard Observatory wouldn't stand for this idea either. It would make as much sense to them as you naming a poker chip after me.
But, Dr. Morton, we've got to think of something.
We tried rigging up a photoelectric cell. It closes the shutter when a rocket goes up, but it cuts the exposure time too much.
But if we can't get these plates, we may not be able to duplicate them for years. Why, right now they're preparing the first trip to a newly discovered planet. And the work of the observatory is necessary to ensure the success of that trip. Now, surely your colleagues will realize that, Mr. Harvey. The future of the human race is at stake.
Doc, the only race those jokers are interested in takes place at Tropical Park.
Look out there. They're starting the fireworks.
All of them heading this way again.
No. It's nothing personal. It's just that if we point them any other way, they're likely to splash people. Or maybe set something on fire.
You mean if the rockets misfired and get the tourists all wet, there would be trouble?
Oh, sure. You couldn't have that. A guy with wet pants ain't going to stand around no crap table for hours.
Mr. Harvey, do you really want to help us?
Well, sure. I promised, didn't I?
Dr. Spiegel, do you think the research library would have any material on pyrotechnics?
Bensinger, what do you have in mind?
Well, Dr. Morton, I was thinking of fighting fire with fireworks. Careful with that match, Harvey.
Oh, don't worry. With the oxygen around here, you need a blowtorch to light a cigarette.
Have you got the rockets ready, Dr. Bensinger?
Well, here they are in the launching racks. I've got all my instruments, compass, a clinometer, an azimuthal radioscope, and a blowtorch.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Spiegel. He's bringing the calculated trajectories from the computer.
Say, I don't know if I like this. What if they miss? Or they go off too soon or something?
Oh, nonsense, Mr. Harvey. You forget. We're scientists.
Here are the figures, Bensinger. We double-checked them on the master computer.
All right, then, let's go. They'll be starting the official fireworks any minute.
Azimuth 360.3570.
Check.
Elevation 49.3740.
Check.
That's corrected for wind, velocity, temperature change, and magnetic eddy currents.
Are you sure you guys know what you're doing with them skyrockets?
Don't worry, Mr. Harvey. They're going to explode in the Grand Canal and get everybody in the Canal Casino all wet. You shouldn't object. After all, it's your competition.
Coming up to 0 hour, Bensinger.
Light the torch.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
There they go.
Oh, interesting effect. The purple color.
Oh, do you like it?
Yes.
That was my idea. Radioactive fluorides.
They're up over the town now.
Hey, one of them's beginning to wobble.
Oh, I can't understand that. The computer was absolutely certain.
It's going over the south of town.
Well, the other one's tracking correctly on the radar. It'll hit the canal square.
Yeah, but look, the purple one. There it goes. It hit.
Looks like it's starting a fire.
Hey, must have hit somebody's house. Hey, you can see it now. It's a house burning.
Oh, dear. There must have been a weak tube in the computer.
Yeah. Some guy's going to be real sore. I can see it real clear with the glasses now. That house on top of the hill there by the Gecko bush. Boy, it's burning like...
Mr. Harvey, what's the matter?
That's my house!
Dr. Benzinger, I've called you in to read a letter that I've written to Mr. Harvey. Oh, do you know his address?
I believe he's staying at his gambling establishment. His house was a total loss.
Yes, well, yes. This has been a very difficult letter for me to write.
I believe the letter is academic, Dr. Morton. Mr. Harvey is outside.
Oh, he is?
With two very large gentlemen with bulging pockets.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I don't know what to say. Well, Mr. Harvey, what a surprise.
You two apes wait outside. Now, Dr. Morton, about those fireworks. I want you to know I believe in direct action. I don't like fiddling around.
Well, of course not.
Like the time I had some trouble with a bottom dealer from Luna City. I didn't fool around. I sent him back to the moon in a cargo rocket. With no air.
How interesting.
Now, about your problem.
I assure you, we apologize.
Apologize? That's great.
I just remembered I left a few plates in the bar.
I don't go away, Doctor. You're in on this, too.
No, there wouldn't be room. Not for two of us.
What are you talking about?
Well, in a cargo rocket, especially without air.
What? I'm trying to tell you. The council voted against fireworks.
No, as a matter of fact, I have a very bad sinus, and no air would definitely... What?
Oh, sure. We decided anything that could burn down an honest citizen's house was too dangerous. Very civic-minded, that council.
But I don't understand.
I kept my promise. I said I'd help you, and I did.
Well, I'm terribly embarrassed. We were trying to get a collection among the staff to help you pay for your loss, but I'm afraid the total assets of the observatory wouldn't reconstruct your garage.
Yeah.
But we held a staff meeting, and we decided on a more permanent kind of remembrance. Mr. Harvey, on this photograph, you see this trail? This bright trail?
Oh, one of them skyrockets again? I'm sorry, Doc. It won't happen again.
No. This is no skyrocket. It's a comet. It will be quite bright for several months. And we've decided to call it Harvey's Comet.
Harvey's Comet? Hey, that's real nice. Harvey's Comet. Hey, Doc, you put me on top of the world. Them boys at the Canal Casino boasting about their new sign. But me, I got a comet. Harvey's Comet. Why, every sucker on Mars will see it every night. It's the best advertisement since they wrote 7 down across the face of the moon.
Well, I'm glad that you're pleased.
Well, as a matter of fact, Doc, I kind of heard about it in advance of one of your boys. You named the comet after me? Okay. I brought something for you. Here.
What is it?
A poker chip from my place. Go ahead, read it.
Harvey's Club. Dr. Morton's poker chip. 5,000.
That's dollars, Doc. Don't spend it all in one place.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
In just a moment, X-1. But first, if you're planning to join the family for this holiday weekend, remember you have a friend who will keep you company through the long hours on the road. That friend is your car radio, and it brings you a full weekend of the most stimulating variety entertainment when you tune in to NBC's Monitor. Yes, you set your dial just once for hours and hours of refreshing variety. News as it happens, sports coverage, everything from baseball to skin diving, interviews with the stars. Plus, lots of the relaxing music you like to hear. It's all on Monitor this weekend. And now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy's science fiction magazine, presents
X minus one.
Tonight's story, A Pail of Air, by Fritz Leiber.
It was pretty quiet in the nest. Pa was just sitting by the fire, staring into it like he does these days. And Ma was asleep. That's why it was so quiet. Ma has some pretty bad times when she just screams and screams and huddles back against the blankets that line the nest. Sis was looking at herself in the mirror that hangs next to the bookshelf. I don't know what she finds to look at so long, but then she's a girl. She just looks at herself. Saturdays, when Pa puts a couple of extra lumps of coal on the fire and we take a bath, she looks at herself in the mirror and sometimes she cries. I dropped the book I was reading, and I guess that woke Ma.
Huh? What? What?
Pick up the book, Bud.
I'm sorry, Pa.
It's come back. Hasn't it, Alfred? It's come back.
It was just Bud. He dropped his book.
Oh, but it's come back. Well, it's out there now, isn't it? I feel a lot warmer.
Now, Ethel.
It's up there in the sky. Just the way it always was. I know. I had a dream, Alfred.
I know, dear. Sis, melt your mother a cup of water.
I'm combing my hair.
Sis.
Oh, all right.
Got to get up. I know it's there. There'll be crocuses. And the spring bulbs. And daffodils.
What are daffodils, Ma?
Well, Buddy, they're a flower. And they're very pretty. Yellow on a tall green stalk. Oh, I want to go out. I want to take the children out.
All right now, Ethel. Here's some water.
Come on, children. We'll all go out and you can play in the sun.
Sure, Ma.
Here, drink the water, Ma.
It's cold, Alfred. You rap on the pipes and make that super send up some more heat.
What's a super, Pa?
It doesn't matter, Bud. There aren't any anymore.
Oh.
Pa, the pail's running low.
Bud, you better get into your things and go out and get an extra pail of air.
There are a couple of pails behind the first blankets.
Go on, get into your things.
It isn't back, is it?
No, it isn't.
There's no sun in the sky. No sun, is there?
No, Ma. What was it like?
The sun.
Sis, don't get your ma upset.
The sun was yellow. And so bright you couldn't look at it. Burning hot. So hot. But when you stretched out in it, made you feel warm all over. Tingly warm. It's been so long since I've been that warm.
I was warm last year on my birthday when Pa put all that extra coal on.
And then every morning it would come out of the east. Make the clouds all pink and yellow. And the mist would rise in the ground, and then slowly everything would glow warmer. Warmer. And then it would be up there in the sky. Shining. Warm.
Hurry up, Bud.
I'm almost ready, Pa.
I want the sun. I want the sun back. Alfred, get me the sun.
It's gone, Ethel. There's nothing I can do.
For Christmas? On my birthday?
Go ahead, Bud. Take the big pail and get it full this time. There's no sense in taking the trip for only half a bucket of air.
I spilled it the last time.
It's dark, Alfred, it's dark.
Go ahead, Bud.
Strap down the helmet, will you, sis?
For goodness sake, stand up straight.
Okay. All right, I'll be right back.
Don't hold the blankets open too long. All right, Ethel. We're all safe. Bud will be right back with another pail of air. It's all right.
I went through the 30 or so blankets that Pa hung up to slow down the air escaping from the nest. Of course, I knew the way. I'd been going out for air since I was a kid. Still, I get a funny, crawly feeling every time I go out of the nest. You gotta go up to the 5th floor, which is just above the blanket of frozen air. You see, when the earth got cold, all the water in the air froze first and made a blanket about 10 feet thick or so. And then down on top of that dropped all the crystals of frozen air, making another blanket 60 or 70 feet thick. I came out of the window we use on the 5th floor and started to scoop up the air into my pail. I had it about full. Boy, my fingers were getting pretty cold when I saw something. Hey, that's a light. Oh, darn it, I kicked over the bucket. Oh, there can't be a light. Not moving around in a window like that. There can't be. Mom, Pa, and Sis are back in the nest. I'm up here, and there can't be anyone else. Everybody on Earth is dead except us. I had an idea how Ma must feel sometimes, the way she sees things. But there it was, moving around in the building across the way. I stood there shaking, and I almost froze my feet. I did frost my helmet so solid on the inside I couldn't see anything. So I hurried up and scooped up another bucket of air and headed back for the nest as fast as I could. Pa, I saw something.
Go on, hang those outside clothes up by the fire.
Phew. Pa, I saw something, I did.
Mother's quiet now. Don't upset her.
Pa, it was a light.
Wait till I get this air next to the fire. Give me the cloth, Sis.
Shall I put another lump of coal on, Pa?
No. The oxygen from this bucket will get the fire up when it begins to melt. There.
Pa, I'm trying to tell you, I saw something up there. Light.
There's lots of lights. Stars.
I know what stars look like, Dopey. They're big, steady white lights in the sky. This was down here in a building.
What is it? Alfred, what is it?
Nothing, Ethel. No, what is this, bud?
Well, first I thought it was a lady. A young lady. I mean it. Like in one of those old magazines. I thought I saw it in a window. But then all I saw was a light.
You watched it for some time, son?
Long enough for it to pass 5 windows and go to the next floor.
And it didn't look like stray electricity?
No, Pa, I know what that looks like.
Or a star refracted through an icicle? Sometimes if you catch it at the right angle, it...
Pa, honest, I never saw anything like it before.
All right. I'll go out with you and you show me.
No, Alfred. You can't go and leave us alone, not both of you.
It's all right. We'll be right back.
Here's your helmet, Pa.
There's something out there. I've always known there was something out there waiting to get us.
Hand me my glove.
Something that's part of the cold. Hates all warmth. Wants to destroy the nest. Been watching us all this time. Now it's coming after us. And it'll get you. And then it'll come for me. Oh, don't go. Alfred, please don't go.
Everything will be all right. Now, Sis.
Yes, Pa?
You come watch the fire. Keep an eye on that air, too. If it gets too low or doesn't seem to be boiling fast enough, get another bucket behind the blanket.
Alfred, don't go.
I'll take care of it, Pa. Could there really be anybody out there?
I don't see how. We heard the last radio voices a year before Bud was born. There hasn't been anything since then.
Then what could it be?
I don't know. Probably just a reflection. An ice crystal cracking. Come on, Bud. Get your helmet on.
It's funny. When I go out alone, I'm not scared or anything. But when I go out with Pa, I always hang on to his belt like I used to when I was a little kid. Habit, I guess. It's the same no matter what trip we take. On the 5th floor, we stopped to rest just before we went out. We were in the room with the frozen people. The lady sitting looking at the door. The man holding his hands over that funny metal thing Pa calls a radiator. It was like a fire, I guess, but I don't see any place for the cold. We put our helmets together so we could talk.
Catch your breath, son.
Pa, would it be possible... I mean, for any of the frozen people to come to life? Like the ones down in the basement around the furnace when we go for water?
No, they're dead. They were caught too quickly when it happened.
Oh, Pa, How do we know we're the only ones?
We don't, but, well, there's a feeling you get. Because it's always night. There used to be some of that feeling every night in the old days. But the sun chased it away every morning. You wouldn't know about that. You weren't born when the dark star pulled us away from the sun. You wouldn't know unless you'd seen the sun.
I've seen the sun. It's that big star at the end of the Big Dipper. I've seen it.
It isn't the same. Come on. We're wasting time.
I don't know what the city looked like in the old days, but now it's beautiful. The starlight lets you see it pretty well. We're up on a hill, and the plain slopes down away from us. Some taller buildings push up out of the feathery plain, topped by rounded caps of air crystals. Some of them are on a slant because a lot of the buildings are badly twisted by the quakes and everything when a dark star pulled the earth away from the sun. That's why Pa can't seal up the nest airtight. The building's twisted too bad. Besides, we have to keep the chimney open. We touched our helmets together so we could talk.
Is that where you saw it, son?
It isn't there anymore.
Uh-huh.
But it feels different. I mean, as if there's something out here, waiting.
Bud, if you see something like that again, don't tell the others.
Huh? Why not?
Well, your ma's sort of nervous these days, and we owe her all the feeling of safety we can give her. Once it was when your sister was born, I was ready to give up and die, but your mother kept me trying. Another time, she kept the fire going a whole week all by herself when I was sick.
She couldn't do that now. Not the way she is.
But you know that game we sometimes play, tossing a ball around? Well, courage is like a ball. A person can hold it only so long, and then he's got to toss it to someone else. When it's tossed your way, you've got to catch it and hold it tight, and hope there'll be someone else to toss it to when you get tired of being brave.
Yeah, I guess so.
Come on. We'll fill up the pails and get back.
But what about whatever it is out here?
We'll just have to wait and see. Come on. Before the helmets frost over.
It's pretty hard to hide your feelings in the nest. I mean, there's just room for the four of us. The blanket overhead just touches when Pa stands up straight. The floor is all covered with thick woolly rugs. Pa says it's inside a much bigger room, but I've never seen the real walls or ceiling. Well, anyway, Pa laughed and kidded about what I'd seen. He said I had an imagination, but we could tell he took it serious. It was Sunday morning by the clocks that Pa kept all wound up on a shelf. So it was time for the story. We all sat around in a circle the way we always do. Except I noticed that Pa casually took a hammer from the shelf and put it beside him. I always liked the story. Of course, Sis and I know it by heart for now. I mean, every Sunday since we were kids. But every once in a while, Pa surprises us by telling it a little different. Or throwing in some extras. It starts out with a song. Ma used to sing it, but she forgets the words sometimes. And now Pa sings it mostly.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, thy purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain.
Of course, the words don't mean anything. I mean, the skies are spacious enough, but there aren't any waves of grain, and the plain is all covered with a blanket of frozen air. But it's part of the story ceremony, and Pa likes it. He says it reminds him of the old days. After the song, Pa starts the story.
In the days of my youth, the sun hung above, golden and warm, and the earth was fruitful and multiplied, and the fields were green, and the day was glorious, and the wind blew across the hilltops, and the air was free and good to breathe.
That's the part of the story I like best. About how it was with the sun nice and warm. It's hard to believe all those people living without having to worry about cold and air. Never waking up sweating and screaming because you dreamed the fire went out. It's impossible to believe, but Pa was a good storyteller, and he made it seem real.
And then the dark star came rushing out of space. In the beginning, they tried to keep the news from the people, but when the floods and the earthquakes started, the truth came out. At first, they thought the dark star would hit the sun, and then they were afraid it would strike the earth itself. But it didn't. It only came close.
Pa tells it like the sun and the dark star fought for the earth like two dogs over a bone. I know what he means because I've seen a picture of a dog in a magazine. And then the dark star won and carried us off. But the sun kept the moon. There were earthquakes and floods. Pa says that mountains fell and oceans slopped over. Oceans, that's a lot of melted water lying around loose. It's hard to imagine. Pa says it was so. Then came the open question time in the story. Sis asked a question about what girls wore for clothes. And I asked Pa how people acted in those days when the earth was twisted and jerked almost apart.
Well, Bud, I was too busy to notice much. A friend of mine, Dr. Weisbrod, and Kelly, the geophysicist, and Walters, the astronomer, we knew what was going to happen. And we were working to fix up a place with airtight walls and insulation and big supplies of food and bottled air. But the place got smashed up in the earthquakes, and they were all killed. So I put the nest together at the last minute in the living room of our apartment. It's a 4-room apartment.
You must have seen some of the people, like the frozen ones downstairs.
At that time, Bud, I only thought of one thing. Your mother and survival. If I had stopped to think, I wouldn't have even tried to make the nest. It would have seemed ridiculous. Blankets and a coal fire against the cold and vacuum of space. But I didn't think. I survived.
I wasn't listening carefully as Pa went on about the building of the nest. I kept thinking about something else. About that light I'd seen outside. I kept asking myself, what if the frozen people were coming to life? What if they were like the liquid helium that crawls toward heat when it should be frozen solid? What if something were coming from the dark star to get us? Something making the frozen people move, not by themselves. That would fit with what I'd seen. A young lady's face and the moving light. I sat there and shivered, thinking of the frozen people with minds from the dark star creeping, crawling, snuffing their way, following the heat to the nest. And then, over from beyond the blankets, I thought I heard a tiny noise.
So I asked myself then, what's the use of going on? Why prolong a doomed existence of hard work and cold and loneliness? The human race is done. The earth is done. Why not give up, I asked myself.
And then I did hear the noise, louder this time, a kind of shuffling tread coming closer.
And then I got the answer. The Earth's always been a lonely place millions of miles from the next planet. And no matter how long the human race might have lived, the end would have come some night. Those things don't matter. What matters is that life is good. There's a lovely texture, like some rich cloth or fur, or the petals of flowers, crocuses, daffodils, or the fire's glow. And that's as true for the last man as the first.
Still, those steps kept shuffling closer. Pa was talking, and Ma was dreaming with her eyes closed, and Sis was looking at herself sideways in the mirror. And I was the only one who heard the noise. A noise outside.
So right then and there I told myself that I was going on as if we had all eternity ahead of us. I'd have children, and I'd teach them all I could. I'd get them to read books, try to enlarge and seal the nest. I'd try to keep everything beautiful and alive. I'd keep alive my feeling of wonder, even at the cold and the dark and the distant stars.
Pa, I hear...
I know.
What is it, Alfred? What is it? What's going on? Oh, you've got to tell me.
Pa, I'm scared.
Quiet. What? You heard it?
Uh-huh. Kind of shuffling. Coming toward the nest.
Oh.
Sis, take care of your mother.
It's all right, Ma. Lie down. Come on.
I'll take the hammer. You take the hatchet.
What is it, Pa? What is it?
I don't know. Listen.
It's closer.
Mush.
Pa, the blanket is moving. Ready with your axe.
Hello? Who's there? Is there somebody in there?
Come in. It's all right.
They're alive. Alive.
Who are you?
Alfred Hutchinson. Dr. Alfred Hutchinson. You can take off your helmets in here.
But the air.
We have air.
We bring it in pails.
Come on, Ralph. Let's take off the helmets.
It's impossible.
Well, where are you from? We thought we were the only ones.
Los Alamos.
The nuclear laboratory.
Yes, that's right. We get our power from the reactor, using the stockpile of bombs for fuel.
Then there are others. There are other men. There are other men.
Pa, is it all right? Should I put the axe down?
Yes, it's all right. You can put it down.
You mean you come from another nest?
It's a little bigger than this. We've got a small airtight city with airlocks.
We generate our electricity, food from hydroponics.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe this. It's impossible. You can't maintain an air supply without hermetic sealing. It's impossible.
Oh, no, it's simple. As long as you keep the fire going to melt the air, and enough air boiling to keep the fire burning.
How did you come here? Why?
Well, we keep scouting around for survivors. There are a number of colonies, Brookhaven, Oak Ridge, and Harwell in England, and the Argonne Laboratory in France. We didn't expect to find anything in this city, though. But our detectors picked up a heat trace, so we tracked it down.
Alfred, you're forgetting your manners. We have company.
Of course. Sis, throw a handful of coal on the fire.
Pa, a whole handful?
Doesn't matter now. And Bud, bring out another pail of air.
Oh, it's incredible.
And you have laboratories and transport?
We only have a two-seater Scout, but if we rip out the bulkhead to the storage compartment, we can make it all right.
We can have you back at Los Alamos in 4 hours.
What's the matter?
I guess we really hadn't thought about it that way.
But, I wouldn't know how to act there. And besides, I haven't any clothes.
Just doesn't seem right to let this fire go out. It's been 18 years. Burning every minute.
But you can't stay here.
Ralph.
But after all...
Ralph.
Oh. Look, Dr. Hutchinson, we'll go out to the ship and bring back a small power heater. I know this is very sudden and upsetting to you. You need a chance to adjust. We'll be back in a few minutes. It's incredible. In buckets, air in buckets.
Well,
They didn't think the nest smelled so good. I could tell.
She had a wave in her hair. Did you see that? And lipstick.
I suppose we have to decide what to do.
Pa, at Los Alamos and those other places, there'll be lots of people, won't there?
Yes,
I mean, not just your father or a brother.
that's right.
Boys?
I suppose so. But somehow I feel a little empty.
Alfred, it's different now that we know others are alive. You don't have to feel the responsibility for keeping the human race going.
Paul, I'd like to see those rockets and laboratories. Wouldn't you, Paul?
I suppose so.
It won't be easy leaving the nest. I mean, it's just right, and there's only 4 of us. It's kind of a scary idea. Big place with a lot of strangers.
You'll get over that feeling, son. The trouble with the world was that it kept getting smaller and smaller till it ended with just the nest. Now it'll be good to have a real, huge world again. The way it was in the beginning.
And so, we're going to leave the nest in the morning. By Pa's clocks. We've got the power heater going now. Seems funny to be this warm when it isn't Christmas or somebody's birthday. But still, it's hard for me to realize that this is the last time I'll go out of the nest, through all the blankets, to get a pail of air.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
After her baby daughter was lost in a shipwreck 14 years ago, Mrs. Patricia Gregory started searching the world over in the hope that her little girl might still be alive. Now Mrs. Gregory is again in the South Seas, and with her on her private yacht are Captain Tex Bradford and Jerry Hall. Jerry was a young radio operator in Los Angeles who received the first mysterious message about an old sailor having seen the Magic Island and the little white girl on it. The yacht is lying now completely becalmed near a strange bank of fog.
I tell you, you've got to believe me. You've got to believe me.
Don't get so excited, Jerry. We can hear you without your shouting like that.
Yes, take it easy, kid.
Oh, I'm sorry. But this is something to get excited about. You know that fog bank over there is not fog, don't you, Captain Bradford?
Well, it doesn't act like any fog I ever saw, Jerry, but what else could it be?
But, Mrs. Gregory, you still think it's fog, don't you?
What else can I think?
Well, you can think about the story that the old sailor told and the Magic Island. That fog, well, or whatever it is out there, is just where the old man said we'd find the island, isn't it?
Right to the inch, boy.
And this yacht was up against it, in it. But we didn't get wet or cold from it. Fog is wet, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
And Captain Bradford's fog machine has always made a hole through every other fog he tried it on, hasn't it, Tex?
I've never found another fog that machine wouldn't penetrate to a point of fair visibility.
Then that stuff over there is not fog. It isn't wet, and your machine didn't even start to go through it. It looks just like a wall made of gray stone or cement.
Tex, you're not really convinced about this, are you?
I've lived a long time without seeing anything that looked like magic, as Jerry likes to call it, but I've never seen anything like this.
Well, I don't know whether it's magic or not, but it's sure funny. And there's another mighty funny thing about this whole business.
What else?
This ocean is too smooth right around the edge of that fog. Look farther away on the sides and behind us. The water is rough enough, but here, right here near that fog bank, the water is as smooth as glass. The boat isn't even rolling.
I noticed that, Jerry, and I don't like it.
Then there is something mysterious about this place. And if the island... Oh, if the island could only be here, and my little Joan alive and well on it.
Well, I don't know about the island, but I do know we ought to find out more about that fog stuff. Why not try sailing around it? Maybe we can see something from the other side.
Well, we did. What's the use? You couldn't see anything?
Tex, you've seen something you're keeping from Jerry and me. You do know something about that fog bank.
Do you, Captain Bradford? Do you?
Well, I didn't want to tell you.
doesn't help matters a bit. There's no use of all of us worrying about the impossible. But I do know a little more about that fog bank than you two.
Don't treat me as if I were a child. What is it, Tex?
Oh, we're stuck so bad now that a little more won't scare me any worse. What did you find out, Captain?
Well, you and Mrs. Gregory remember that you spent a long time working over that chart while I was on deck?
Yes.
I mean, before I called you to come and look at the fog?
Why, we were talking about Joan and the Magic Island and all. I guess we did talk a long time.
What were you doing, Tex?
Well, I was on the bridge, and the skipper will tell you this is the truth.
Yes?
Go on. Go on.
Well, we have sailed around that fog bank.
We've sailed around it?
Gee, well, what was on the other side?
A fog bank.
Oh. Then it is just fog.
Wait, Mrs. Gregory. Go on, Captain. There's more, isn't there?
There's a whole lot more. From the circumference of the circle we described in rounding this thing, it must be about half a mile around it. Possibly a little more. And it's perfectly round.
That doesn't tell us much.
I want to hear it all, Tex.
No, I don't want to get you all worked up over it. May not mean a thing. But our instruments read exactly the same on all four sides of that fog.
What?
You mean they didn't change at all as you went around?
That's it. And from our solar readings and my radio beam check, that reading is correct. Correct to a fraction of a second, but...
But what?
Hurry. Hurry and tell us, or I'm going to pass out.
The readings we took all around this thing belong in the center of it. Everything reads to a perfect center when you're sailing around the edge of that fog.
Then a regular vessel, I mean one that just sailing through here on a regular run, would skirt around that fog without knowing they'd run off their course.
I guess they would. We found nothing to indicate our course had been changed. And if we weren't looking for trouble, we would have figured the same as any other navigator. That we were just passing a small fog bank and not being compelled to follow a distorted curve around it.
Then that means just one thing. There is something behind or in that fog. Something. And that something is...
I'll bet it's the Magic Island. Oh, golly whiskers. We're here. We found it. Gee, Mrs. Gregory. Now we'll get your little girl back.
Not so fast, son. Even if there is an island there, what can we do about it? The yacht won't go through the fog. We tried that.
Then let's figure why it won't go through it.
That's out of the question, isn't it?
Nothing is out of the question with Tex and I to figure things out.
Well, just leave me out of that, Jerry. You figure this yourself. I'm stuck.
Well, if we can't sail through it, there's something funny about it. And something funny about a fog means it's being done on purpose.
Jerry, you mean it isn't just a natural phenomenon? That the fog is man-made, controlled?
How about those instruments, Captain? And the fog holding the boat just like a magnet. That's it. Magnet. Oh, giggling goldfish. Why didn't I think of that before? That fog is magnetized.
That's my idea, boy, but I hated to make such a wild statement.
Well, that sounds possible. There are a great many magnetic deposits and formations in many parts of the world.
But don't you see, Mrs. Gregory? We don't mean a magnetic field that just happened there. That fog has been magnetized by somebody or something.
Do you think that's possible? You're not just excited and running away with yourself, Jerry.
Well, if he is, I'm running way ahead of him. Patricia, that fog bank is not ordinary fog. It's magnetized as surely as we're standing on this yacht looking at it. And there's probably an island hidden in it.
Well, but Tex...
And that's not guesswork. It's a scientific probability.
What else would have held our boat against that fog but a powerful magnetic force of some kind? And what else but a magnet? And a magnet with somebody running it would have turned the boat loose when it got ready.
Why, it's thrilling. But it's terrible, too. What can it mean?
It can mean we're up against the greatest piece of electrical or chemical wizardry this generation has seen. And we're going to see all of it.
Where do we start, Tex?
Start guessing, and as if you've done pretty well so far, Jerry. Suppose you take the first guess.
Well, isn't it better to do something you're sure of than it is to guess?
What can anyone be sure of in these weird circumstances?
Got something definite in mind, son?
Well, we can see what's inside that fog ring. If the little plane lashed to the deck, we'll fly over it.
Of course. Why didn't you think of that, Tex?
I did, but it'll take an hour to assemble the wing spread, lower to the water, and get ready for a takeoff. By that time, it'll be pretty dark. I don't like to try getting the plane back on board at night, except in an emergency.
Golly whiskers. Here you've got a magnetized bank of artificial fog right under your nose, and a magic island, and a... Well, how much do you need to make it an emergency?
Well, I meant a matter of life and death. That island, if it is inside the fog, has been there a lot of years, and it won't run away tonight.
Then we can't do anything until morning?
Oh, I guess not. Say, I've got it. I'll swim ashore. That's it.
You'll do everything else, boy.
You can't do that, Jerry.
I'll bet I can. And I bet I'll get through that fog, too. I won't wear anything that a magnet will hang on to.
And after you get through the fog, what then?
What do you mean? What then?
Mrs. Gregory and I are outside with the yacht. And if anything should happen to you, we couldn't get in there.
Why not try shooting through the fog?
No, you might hit... Of course, I mean, if this really is the island we're looking for, Joan might be hurt.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I guess we'll have to wait till morning.
I've got one small idea. Let's see. Skipper!
Aye.
Will you step up forward here, please?
Aye.
Now, Jerry, I want you to go into our cabin. Get that long black case, the one that looks like a violin case, out of the instrument locker. Bring it here and handle it as if it were eggs.
Right away, sir. I'll get it.
Sir?
Skipper, the swell is rolling heavier now. We can't use the motors to hold our position, as I need all the power in this cable here. Will you try for a good anchorage so I can cut all the juice away from the engine room?
Sounded.
Well?
3
fathoms?
Aye.
Can I help, Tex? I'm so nervous, but for once I seem to be helpless. I'm sorry I've always been able to think with you before, but no,
I understand, darling.
Tex.
I didn't say anything.
I know you didn't, but I'm glad you said it.
Oh, I suppose I shouldn't have.
You shouldn't, and I've been waiting years to hear it.
Patricia,
Here's the case, Captain Bratt. Oh, golly whiskers. I guess you forgot the case, didn't you? I'll go back and bring it in again if you want me to.
No, Jerry, you just rescued me in time.
You don't yell for help very loud, do you?
Now, Jerry, come on. Let's hook up the machine. Break that cable. Bring the shielded lead plug over here while I open the case.
Are we going to anchor here for the night? The skipper's paying out the stern chain.
Yes. Tex thinks we'd better not move till morning, and the skipper reports sounding's okay for a good anchorage.
Can I help with the machine?
Not yet, Jerry. I'm a little afraid to have anyone but myself handle it until it's set up.
It's sure a funny-looking thingamabob. What is it?
I never saw this before either, Tex. Is that what you've been working on so secretly in the laboratory?
I've done nothing else for over a year, and it's perfect.
What is it?
Well, I haven't named it officially yet, but I think I'll call it my Straightoscope.
Straightoscope?
Well, what does that mean?
Well, it's a combination of strata and scope, as from stratosphere and periscope. In other words, it will do through the air, and at tremendous altitudes and distances, what the periscope will do within a very limited range.
I think it sounds lovely, Tex, but what will it do?
Left you behind that time, eh, Pat? How about you, son?
I think I know what you mean. You can look away up in the air, then away over someplace, then down again, like seeing over the horizon. Isn't that it?
That's it exactly, Jerry, and I know it works. I've tried it over a 300-foot building. When I was on the ground on one side, the objective was on the ground on the other side, and I saw it.
And now you're going to look over that fog and down onto the island.
Oh, can we? Really?
I'm getting it sighted now. You see, it's a case of plotting the trajectory of the wave curve I'm sending out. Figuring the density of the exact strata in the atmosphere I must refract the wave from to bring it down to Earth on the desired spot.
But how do you see anything with a wave?
These waves will return to me with almost as great an intensity as they leave the instrument with. Then I merely catch them in a tuned wave trap. And with a light valve and converter, I project the image on this little ground glass screen here and... Pat, Jerry, I've got it. I can see it.
Is it the island?
Is it, Tex? What do you see?
It is growing dark. The magnificent yacht of Mrs. Patricia Gregory rides at anchor just off a mysterious bank of fog in the South Seas. On board the yacht, Mrs. Gregory, her business manager Tex Bradford, and their young companion Jerry Hall are eagerly trying an experiment. Bradford has just set up a unique piece of mechanism through which he can see over the horizon, or over a building and down into the street on the other side of it. Now the machine is focused on the strange fog bank, and behind this bank lies what? Will this prove to be the magic island?
What do you see, Tex?
Hold on, son. Don't get excited now. I think we've got something here.
Oh, please, Tex, may I look?
Well, of course, Pat. Go to it. You'll be next, Jerry.
I'm almost afraid to look. 14 years is a long time to look for something. We're almost afraid to find it then.
Go on, Mrs. Gregory. You'll never get Captain Bradford to tell us what he saw through that thing. Take a look for yourself. Gee whiz, if Joan is there, after you hunting for her for 14 years, you ought to be the first one to see her.
You're a gallant lad, Jerry. Oh, Tex, what did you see?
Nothing doing, Pat. Here, you look. I just got the range for you. But hurry now, it's nearly dark.
All right. Do I put my eye here?
That's it. Steady does it, Pat. I'll work that sextant just a hair's breadth if you want to.
Right.
Do you see anything, Mrs. Gregory?
Hush, kid.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think I see a group of people. They aren't very clear yet. No, that's better. The whole island shines, as if it were polished stone or some kind of metal. Now I see the group more clearly.
Yeah? What else?
Jerry.
Yeah, I know, but...
Oh, Tex. Jerry,
She's fainted, kid. Run and get a glass of water out of my cabin. Hurry.
Yes, sir.
Pat, you're all right, Pat. Just take it easy for a minute. Jerry's getting you a glass of water. Pat. There, that's better, Pat. Where's that water, Jerry?
I'm coming.
Oh, what? Tex. Tex, I saw...
Is she all right now? Is she all right?
She'll be all right in a jiffy. Hand me that glass of water.
Here.
Where's the water?
Huh?
Where's the water?
Oh, golly. I drank it myself. I'll get some more.
It's a good thing you didn't need that water.
I'm all right. Silly of me to do that, wasn't it?
Nothing you could ever do would be silly to me, Pat, but just what got you so quick? You saw something?
Tex, I saw that group of people. They're real, and they're on an island all right, and... Oh, it's almost too much to believe, but I thought I saw a young girl with them.
I thought I saw the same. And for your sake, I hope we're both right.
Here's the glass with the water in it.
Thanks, Jerry. Now I feel better. That's the first time I ever felt like fainting.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I would have fainted if I hadn't used the first glass of water on myself. I could tell what you saw from the way you acted. May I look now?
Help yourself, son.
Boy, what a thrill this is. Now, let's see. Oh, looks kind of cloudy at first. There now. I can see better. This focus is easy enough. I got it. Gee, there's people there. People on the island right inside the fog. Whole bunches of them. But they're all men. No, they ain't. Hey, there's a girl with them. A girl, Mrs. Gregory.
Yes, Jerry, I saw that too, but don't hope too much.
Hope? Nothing. That's your little girl. I know it is. That's Joan. She looks just like you do.
Now, Jerry, I made that machine, and I happen to know you can't distinguish features at that distance.
I don't care about her features. I'm talking about what she looks like.
You better let me take another look, Jerry. It's getting dark. It's pitch black in 15 minutes. We won't get any twilight. Better learn what I can about our situation before we hole up for the night. All right now, Pat?
Quite all right.
I'll steady you up, Mrs. Gregory. You just hang on to my hand. I'm not nervous anymore.
Thank you, Jerry.
What do you see, Captain?
There's a group of people on the island, all right, and... Well, now, there's a funny one. They seem to be pointing something at us.
Bet they're going to shoot. Let's duck.
Oh. No, it looks more like a telescope. It is something like that, and they know how to look through that fog. They see us all right. Some of them are waving their arms and pointing at us.
Well, we sure couldn't see anything through the fog. Good thing you had this machine for reflecting your rays against the air over the island and looking down on it.
From the way they're acting, it's obvious they see us and see us plainly.
Is there any danger, Tex?
I think not. At least not so long as we just ride at anchor. Here, say something's happening.
What are they doing now?
They are not doing anything. At least not anything I can see, but the fog is. I've got it. They've figured out that I'm watching them by means of rays refracted over the top of that fog. So they're closing it over the top.
Closing what over?
The island. All of it. You were right, Jerry. That fog is artificially made and perfectly controlled. Now they're covering up overhead with it. I can hardly see. That's all for now. They put a perfect roof of fog over that whole island, and it didn't take them more than 30 seconds to do it.
Then they did know we were watching them. Sure enough.
What do you think we ought to do now, Tex?
Nothing. Just nothing. It's nearly dark. There's no reason to fear anything, and they can't watch us any longer.
I'm getting a little chilly. Probably just nerves. It's anything but cold this evening.
Yeah, we'll go in the radio room and sit down and talk this thing over quietly. Now, you're doing splendidly, Pat. I know what a strain you must be under.
This would be a strain for anybody. I'll go ahead and open the door.
I'll leave this straightoscope right here for the time. You take that easy chair, Pat.
All right.
Jerry, warm up the radio.
Oh, boy. Do I get to use it?
Go ahead, son. Let me know when it's warm, and I'll give you the message.
Now, Tex, tell me honestly, do you think there's a chance that my little girl is on that island?
After what we've seen in the last 6 hours, there's a chance for anything. I've never had any hope that you would find little Joan. Everyone agreed that you must have drowned in that shipwreck. And 14 years is a long time without news of her.
But now, Tex, now, don't you see that there's some reason that may make those 14 years of silence possible? That island is weird. It's mysterious. It's almost what the old sailor said it was, a magic island.
Agreed. And for the first time, I'm willing to admit there is a chance. A mighty good chance that the little girl on the island could be Joan.
How can we find out, and how soon?
We'll have to take our time. For one thing, we don't know what that island represents. Nothing in the ordinary or usual run of islands, that's sure. With all their fog machines or whatever they use to hide the island with, and their magnetized circle to keep boats off, it might mean a lot of things. And they're most likely all bad.
I've got the set ready, Captain. What's the call?
Call Johnson at J12C as you did before. Sign your name and the yacht call, J24Y.
Okay. J12C, J12C, Jerry Hall on J24Y to J12C. Hello, J12. Hello, J12.
Now hold it, Jerry. He's got an automatic recording pickup there. And even if he's out of the room, he'll get a sustained curve on his frequency disturbance graph when he checks it.
You're the most mysterious folks I ever saw. You've got yachts as big as battleships, private radio stations on wavelengths nobody ever heard of, and call letters like a kid's club. What's it all about?
You promised not to ask that again till we were ready to tell you, Jerry.
I'm sorry. But you'll be sorry if I die of curiosity.
Nobody ever died of it yet.
Well, I don't feel any too good.
Hello, J24Y. Hello, J12C, Johnson. Go ahead, J24.
Here he is. What'll I tell him?
Give him our position. Make the story about the island brief. Ask him stand by. If we do not report all clear by tomorrow noon, he has to ask D.C. to rush full protection. Story is for publication. He can use own judgment. Shoot it, kid.
Right. Hello, J12C. Jerry Hall for Captain Bradford on J24Y. Are you ready?
Go ahead, Hall. Go ahead.
Located island, surrounded by fog camouflage. Standing by for daylight to try landing. Boat held off this evening by magnetic ring in ocean, probably 100 yards offshore. Our position is latitude 29.
Hey. What's the matter, Skipper?
Danger.
What kind of danger?
Drifting.
Drifting? Well, what's the matter with your anchors?
Dragging.
Dragging the anchors? I don't hear any wind. What's going on?
Hurry.
Do I keep sending?
Stay right in there, son, no matter what happens. Stay with that radio and report in full to J12. Come on, Pat, we'll look around.
Are you still there, J12C? Hello, J12.
What happened? I can hear you very faintly, J24. Go ahead, Hall.
The boat is drifting. Captain Bradford and Mrs. Gregory have gone on deck with the skipper. No wind. Calm sea. Anchored in 3 fathoms, but drifting. Dragging the anchors. No reason for it. Stand by for emergency flash. Got that? Hey, the lights are going out. Something's wrong.
Your signal is fading, J24. Standing by for emergency call. Are you getting me, J24? Hello, Hall. J12C to J24. Why? Can you?
Oh, the set's gone dead. And the lights are all out. The same thing that happened before. I'd better get up on deck. Oh! Golly whiskers. That chair hurt my shins. Where's the handle on this door? Ah, there it is. Oh, boy. Hey, Tex, where are you?
Come up forward, Jerry.
Where are you? I can't see a thing.
Right here, you nearly bumped into us. Your juice quit on you, didn't it?
Yeah. Same thing we had today?
The skipper's working with the crew to get out a spare anchor over the stern, but we're already dragging 2 of them.
If it wasn't so dark, we might see what's happening.
All we can see is a funny gray color, and you can't see much of that.
Tex, Jerry, I think I can smell something unusual.
Huh? You're right. I smell a gas or a chemical of some kind.
I know why the sky's all gray, and I know what the smell is, too.
The fog. Is that it?
That's it. and we're drifting into that island.
We're going through the fog, Tex.
I know it. Look there. Dead ahead. See that faint glow?
It's a little lighter up there, and the fog isn't quite so thick. That fog is some kind of gas, by the smell.
Doesn't seem to affect us any, though.
We're drifting faster, aren't we? That glow of light is rapidly getting nearer.
I hope we don't smash into something before we get on the beach, or grab a pier, or a dock of some kind.
Why should we drift to the island? We tried for 2 hours to get through this fog with full speed ahead, and we couldn't move. Now we're drifting through it.
You don't drift and drag 2 anchors in 3 fathoms of still water, with no wind and no tide.
We're not drifting?
I'll say we're not drifting. That magnetism is working again, only stronger this time. We're being pulled. This boat is being dragged to that island.
Exploring tomorrow. And now here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
There's the old saying that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know, it isn't really power that corrupts, but immunity to punishment and control. And every fool with a little power wants to achieve that immunity. Usually it's held that like attracts like. The 2 individuals with the same great fundamental characteristic will be normally attracted to each other. You know, this isn't necessarily so. It may not be true. You may have 2 people who don't like each other, but are forced by the very nature of the fact that they have a unique characteristic to endure each other.
Oh, just a little more. Oh, Alan, isn't it beautiful the way it bubbles and bubbles? Oh, Alan, let's have champagne every night on our honeymoon.
You want to take a bath in it? I can arrange that, too.
Oh, Alan, really? Pink champagne?
Just as pink as you're blushing right now.
Oh, Alan.
What's the matter? Do you think Mr. and Mrs. Alan Carvel are going to live like the rest of the slobs? I tell you, baby...
Alan.
Oh, what's wrong, Alan?
Nothing.
Alan.
You look so funny all of a sudden.
Get off my back. Thank heaven I've found you. Why haven't you been answering me these last few days?
Do I have to check in with you everything I do, every place I go?
Alan?
Oh, it's all right. I'm all right, Jeannie. Just leave me alone for a minute,
Get out of my mind, Laurie. Get out, I tell you. I'll talk to you later.
You'll talk to me now. What are you doing with this child? What are you trying to hide from me?
All right. I'll get rid of her, then I can talk to you. Give me 20 or 30 minutes to take her home.
I'll give you half an hour, that's all. And don't try to close up your mind and hide from me again.
All right, I say.
Jeannie, it's all right.
You went so white there all of a sudden. Alan, honey, are you sick?
No, it's just one of those migraine headaches of mine. Honey, look, I better take you home.
Oh, honey.
No, it's all right. I just need some sleep, that's all. Come on, let's get your coat.
Oh, you better not come in. That old landlady.
Oh, that's okay. Good night, baby.
Oh.
Good night now.
And get lots of sleep. Take care of your poor head. Call me in the morning.
That's the deal. Good night, honey.
Good night, Alan.
What makes you do things like that, Alan?
You stuck with me every inch of the way, didn't you?
How old is she? 16?
17. What's it to you?
Oh, I have to be conscience for both of us.
Thank you, sweet Lorraine. Who asked you to?
You did, Alan. You always have. All these things you do are challenges to me to set right. All your venom against a fate that made you one of the only two telepaths in the world is twisted against me, your only partner in this lonely land. You strike out at me because I'm like you, and because by the same chance that made us, I'm the stronger one.
That's a lie. I can break loose from you any time. Let me go. I can't breathe.
I won't hurt you, Alan. I could never hurt you. Though I thank whoever or whatever's responsible for making us as we are, that it's me, not you, who has the additional power to reach out and move physical objects with my mind.
You would. You waste something like that and then feel good about it. What I could do with something like that. Why don't you leave me alone?
Because I love you, Alan. If you'd been a man with decent instincts, bound as we are together, we could have married and found what little happiness is possible for two like us in this world. But there's a twisted streak in you that wouldn't let you settle for that.
Go ahead, play the little mother. You're no good for anything else.
You didn't think so once, Alan.
You're over the hill, baby. Face it.
I've faced it, Alan. Have you?
What do you mean?
Can't you see you're getting worse? When we were just children together, before we'd even seen each other face to face, we used to talk to each other at night, clear across the city, mind to mind, about how someday we'd go out and find others like us. But if you had the chance to find someone like us now, you wouldn't take it. You don't want others. You want to be the only one.
Why not?
Why not? You've got a gun in your pocket right now. Don't you see the danger in all that? Don't you know what it can do to you?
Don't try to scare me, Laurie.
I'm not trying to scare you, Alan. A telepath living in a world of non-telepaths is not a normal person. He can't be. He has to walk a chalk line all the time to preserve his sanity. He can't afford inner conflicts or emotional violences or shocks. What do you plan to do with that girl? What's the gun for? And what's that you're trying to hide right now, right under the surface of your mind there?
All right. You want to know? I'll tell you. I'm getting out. I'm getting away from this city and away from you, and that girl goes with me. I'm going to take what I want, anything I want, and live like I deserve to, and you can't stop me.
Alan! Alan, answer me! Don't shut yourself off from me like that! Alan! Alan!
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
This is Bill Goodwin. You know, someone once said humor is the true democracy. And that's why we Americans can smile when we tell the stories of the legendary heroes who helped to build our country's great institutions and industries. Like Bowleg Bill, hero of the tuna fishing industry. Back in Provincetown, Massachusetts, they claimed that when it came to hauling in the horse mackerel, as the Easterners call tuna, Bill could handle 2 gaffs at once and catch more than any 6 men put together. And they're still talking about the time Bill caught old Slick Britches, the biggest horse mackerel of them all. No one could ever get his hooks into Slick Britches, who weighed 2,000 pounds and had a tail 6 feet long. But Bowleg Bill promised to land him single-handed. He set out in his boat's toss-up, and when he spotted Slick Britches, he made a grab for him, but the tuna slipped through his hands. So Bill dove over the side, and before folks knew what had happened, Bill was sitting astride old Slick Britches, who was bucking like a bronco. He leaped almost a mile out of the water, but Bill hung on. All over the harbor they went, jumping and leaping, but still Bill hung on. Finally, Slick Britches gave one last leap over the toss-up, and then calmed down, all the fight gone out of him. Bill steered him toward shore, but all of a sudden he headed him back out to sea, slapped the tuna's tail, and jumped off. Now, folks were mighty disappointed when Slick Britches disappeared, but it was like Bill told them. There's nothing that'll break a cowhand's heart so quick as to find a critter with the ruff all rode off at the first mount. Yes, sir, it is a democracy which lets us tell the stories of such a legendary character as Bowleg Bill with a twinkle in our eyes and a chuckle in our throats. And so long as we continue to laugh together as a people, ladies and gentlemen, we will live together as a nation.
Telepathy has long seemed like a wonderful thing to have, a wonderful possession. But have you ever considered it in terms of the absolute end of privacy? You know, explorers have found that if you put 2 men in one little cabin isolated far away from the rest of the world, they don't learn to like each other. They learn to hate each other.
Now, Sue? That wake you, honey? I thought you was going to watch the Late Late Show on Channel 2. Well, it's just a little past midnight. Oh, I'm sorry I woke you, honey. I just felt like phoning. No, it's quiet as a church. Been through the plant and the tool shop 4 times already. I was just going to check the officers and... Oh, now, come on. Now, stop worrying. Nobody knows about these night payroll deliveries. Anyway, they've come and gone. The money's already in the safe. Sure I will. What?
That's a gun you feel in your back. You say goodbye and hang up fast. And don't turn around.
No. It's all right. I just remembered I forgot to ring in, and I'll better hurry and do that right now. I'll call you back later. Goodbye.
All right, let's head for that safe over there. Now move.
Don't worry. I have a healthy respect for guns. There it is over there. I don't know what Good's going to do. I ain't got the combination.
Shut up. I'll stand over there where I can watch you.
Hey, you opened it right up. Who told you the combination?
The president of the company.
Are you kidding? What is this, a gag of some kind? Look, if this is just a joke, mister... No, I didn't make...
Think about jumping me, will you?
Slob.
Slob, that's all he was, a slob.
Oh, Alan, please tell me what this is all about. You go home with a migraine headache, and then you call up and get me out in the middle of the night. And you keep drinking, but you won't tell me what's the matter.
What's the matter? That's a funny one. Come here. Come close. I'm going to tell you something.
Alan, you're hurting my arm.
Listen to me. You want to know something? You know how trees think? They think real long and slow and peaceful, and sometimes they take all winter just to think one little thought.
Trees? Thinking?
Oh, it isn't real thinking. It's just living, you know? You hear them living, calm and quiet and slow. And cats. Listen to me, lady. You know how cats think?
No.
Well, cats think sort of S-shaped, like a snake crawling. And dogs, dogs are all excited. Up and down, like a pogo stick. Even when they're dreaming. Everything thinks. Do you know that, Jeannie? Everything. All day long. Forever. Never. Everything goes on thinking. As long as they live, and when they're dying.
Alan, are you cold? Let me hold you. Oh, you're shivering like crazy.
Give me a drink,
Sweetheart, you've had enough.
I want a drink, I said. Here, give me yours. You're not touching it anyway.
Alan, I really think you shouldn't be...
Look, I got a better idea. Tell you what, let's get out of here, huh? Let's get out of this town tonight, and we'll go far away where she can never find us. We'll take my car and we'll head south. Right now. We can buy what we need as we go. We'll get married on the way. What do you say, Jeannie?
Well, Alan,
You love me. Don't you love me, baby? You said you'd always do anything I ever wanted. Well, this is what I want. Get out tonight. And don't worry about money. I got lots of it.
You have?
Sure.
Where did you get a lot of money all of a sudden?
I'll tell you when we're on the road, okay? Oh, answer me. Or I'll leave you behind here.
Alan, you wouldn't go off and leave me.
Of course not, honey. But I gotta go. There's no two choices about it, and I gotta go now. Now you're coming with me, aren't you?
Well,
One of the worst things about a conscience is that the darn thing is always going with you wherever you are. Alan had something other than a conscience, and running away didn't do much good. Telepathy has no distance limitations.
Alan.
What?
It's starting to get light. Alan, you never did tell me where you got the money.
Not now. Can't you see I'm out of my feet?
So we could stop and get a couple of hotel rooms somewhere.
No, we've got to keep driving.
But we're nearly 100 miles out of town already. You keep saying we've got to keep driving, but I don't see why we couldn't stop for just a few hours.
Oh, shut up, will you?
Alan.
You don't like it? Get out and take a bus back. Who needs you?
I don't know what's wrong with you. You never used to be like this. Since last night.
Well, just shut up.
Alan.
What?
Nothing.
Alan.
I'm not turning back.
Yes, you are, Alan. This time you're turning back, even if I have to make you.
Make me, then.
Alan, you're slowing down.
She's making me. She's making me.
Well, Alan.
Talk out loud.
You look in pretty bad shape.
Give me a cigarette.
There's some on the desk. I'm glad you came right back here when I turned you around. Shows there's some hope.
Now cut it out. What did you stop me for?
That watchman. It was you, Alan, wasn't it?
What watchman?
Alan.
All right. Yes, it was me. He was a slob, so he's dead. So what?
The gun you beat him to death with is in your pocket right this minute.
So what?
So I'm going to have to make you go to the police and show them the gun and tell them.
You can't do that by remote control. You have to go with me.
I'll go with you.
And what will you tell them about how you happen to know all this? How about that?
I will tell them.
What about us? About me and you? About you?
I don't want
Are
to...
you crazy? You know what that would mean? You think they'd believe you? And if they did, what would it be for the rest of your life? You'd be owned, Laurie. Owned. Guarded and locked away by them. The slobs, like a piece of machinery made to do what they wanted you to do for them. You'd never be free again.
All I ever wanted was what any woman wants, the chance to lead a normal life. Look at me, Alan. I'm not bad looking. I never was. But the only man I could ever have been a normal wife to was you. And you never grew up. You've been a selfish little boy all your life, and I've paid for it.
Why didn't you leave me alone? Just leave me alone.
Leave you alone? Do you think you ever really wanted me to leave you alone? I was forced to love you the same way the only woman in the world would be forced to love the only man in the world. Well, now it's too late. I can't let you kill again.
Then do it. Go ahead, handcuff me with that mind of yours. Take me to the cops. Make them believe you. Do you think that'll stop me? Do you think there's any jail that can hold me, any guards that can keep me? Go ahead. You're the only force in this world that can chain me, and you can't watch me 24 hours a day. You've got to sleep sometimes, and... Laurie, you're choking.
You would break loose, wouldn't you, Alan? You would kill again, in spite of all I could do to stop you. All right, you can breathe now. No, don't look at me like that. I'm not going to kill you. Even now, I can't do that. That gun of yours is in your inside pocket. Lift your right hand, Alan. Put it inside your coat. Now, take out the gun. Don't try to fight my will, Alan. You know it's no use. Now, you will point it at me.
No, Laurie, not you. Anyone but you. Not you, Laurie, not you.
Alan, it's me, Jeannie. Darling, can't you hear me?
Jeannie.
Sweetheart, just try to move your finger. Or your eyes. Just move your eyes a little so I'll know you'll hear me.
Jeannie, I can't move. I can't do anything. Help me.
Alan.
It's like being buried alive. I'm paralyzed. Help me. Laurie, come back and help me. Laurie.
Alan had his wish fulfilled. Alan wanted immunity from consequences of his actions. There's only one way to achieve it, and he achieved it. If you do nothing, if you have no actions whatever, then you have immunity from consequences. And that's the only way. Otherwise, you're responsible for what you do, whether you like it or not.
Join us for a fascinating adventure in Exploring Tomorrow. Heard in our cast tonight were Mandel Kramer and Bryna Rayburn. Script was by Gordon Dixon. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. Bill Maher speaking.
We pause now for station identification.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend the steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Yes, fellows and girls, here is an important message for you. A message direct from our fighting Marines from the Solomon Islands, echoed by our blue jackets on the high seas, by the boys who wear our Army and Navy wings, our troops in Africa, our commandos in England. In fact, by every man in the American armed forces, no matter where he may be. And here's the message. We're going to win this war, they say. We're going to wipe Hitlerism and fascism off the face of the earth. We've taken on the job, and we're going to see it through, but we can't do it alone. We can't do it without the help of every boy and girl and every man and woman back home. Now, we know the one way we can help those boys fight this war to a victorious finish is to see that they get all the guns and tanks and ships and planes they need. But those things require a lot of money, and that's where you and I come in. We help our government to buy those war materials by lending them our money, by buying all the war stamps we possibly can. Why, right at this moment, there are American fighting men on the new front, and they're equipped with guns and tanks and protected by planes and ships that you helped to buy. That is, if you've been buying war-saving stamps regularly. So let's make a promise to ourselves right now. Let's promise to buy war-saving stamps as often as we can. Tell Mother and Dad about it. See if you can't get them to give you a dime a day for a war stamp, or even a dime every other day. And remember that every dime is important, because 10 cents will buy 5 .45 caliber bullets that can be used by our soldiers, sailors, and Marines. 5 dimes will buy enough fuel oil to take an American destroyer 1 full mile closer to its objective. And a dime a day from all the fellows and girls in the United States will buy enough fast pursuit planes to blast Hitler's Luftwaffe right out of the sky. So start right now to do your share to help win this war. Remember this, every time you've got a dime, buy a war-saving stamp.
And now, the adventures of Superman. When Superman, in his disguise of Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter, solved the mystery of the broken statues by revealing that one of them contained the formula for a new and revolutionary explosive, little did he know that the adventure was just beginning. Neither Kent nor the police know exactly who is after the formula, though they suspect agents of a foreign power. We do know, however, for in our last episode we overheard a conversation between 2 Japanese agents in Metropolis, Tojira Tokimura and a strange female known as the Leopard Woman, in which they planned to recover the formula. As we take up our story once again, our scene is police headquarters. Kent and Inspector Callahan are in the line-up room where prisoners brought in the night before are being examined. Listen.
Hey, you got me all wrong. I didn't have nothing to do with it.
Guilty or not guilty?
Okay, guilty.
Step down. Lose your mano. Lose your mano.
Stop shoving.
Get up there.
I'm getting. Take it easy.
Lose your mano, alias lose your log, alias lucky lose your alias.
This is one of the thugs you captured in your apartment last night, Kent.
One of the three who tried to get the statue away from you.
Yes, I recognize him.
Well, we didn't have much luck with the others. Let's see what we can get out of him.
9.5 inch, 42, two conviction.
Yeah, you'll never convict me of nothing again. I'm wise now. See, I got myself a mouthpiece, see?
That'll be enough of that, Lucio. You'll answer a few questions here in the lineup.
What kind of questions? I don't know nothing you'd want to know.
Oh, I think you do. Mr. Kent, sitting on my right here, captured you and your sidekicks in his apartment last night. Now, what were you doing there?
We was waiting for a streetcar.
Very funny, Lucio. Actually, as you told Kent later on, you were looking for that tent statue. Now, what I want to know is, who hired you to get that statue?
A guy named Claude.
Claus?
Yeah, Santa Claus.
Well, I admire you, Romano. I really do.
Yeah?
Yeah. You're pretty gay for a guy who's as close to a life sentence as you are.
Nuts. I'm wise now. See, I got a mouthpiece, see?
Your lawyer won't talk you out of this. It's an open and shut case. 2 convictions, and this will be the 3rd. And you were carrying a gun, Lucio. Mr. Kent will testify to that. That's a violation of the law. That'll make 3 convictions and a life sentence. Take him away.
Step down.
Now, wait a minute.
You had your chance to talk. Take him away.
Step down.
I said, wait a minute. I got something to say.
Your lawyer will do your talking.
Look, Cap, give me a break, will you? I don't want no life sentence. Maybe when I know what I can tell you, maybe you'll be able to catch the guys that wanted that statue.
We'll capture them anyway.
Step down, I said.
I tell you, you got to give me a chance. I'll talk. I'll tell you anything you want to know. I don't want no life term. See, I have...
All right. Fill it.
Well, a guy comes to me the other night and tells me he wants that statue. Wants it quick, see? I asked him what he wants with the statue. He says if I want the job, to shut my yap and collect my dough. That's all. He gives me a century to do the job.
$100, huh? Who was this man?
I don't know. I swear I don't. I never saw the guy in my life. It's just another job, see? I never saw him before. I give him the statue and collect my dough, and I never see him again. That's the way it figures, see?
May I ask a question, Captain?
Well, certainly, Ken. Go ahead.
What did the man look like, this man who hired you?
He was kind of short, dumpy.
You're lying.
Oh, wait a minute.
The man was tall and thin and wore a small mustache.
How do you know so much?
Yes, Ken, for heaven's sake, how do you...
played a hunch, Captain. I had an idea that the man who hired these thugs was the same man who impersonated Dr. Squires. The same man who killed that clown in his cell.
Oh, I get it. You were supposed to meet this man later, Lucio?
Yeah. It's 2 o'clock this morning outside the cigar store on Toyton Main.
Excuse me, Captain Callahan.
Yes?
The armored car is here, sir.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Kent and I will be right there.
You gotta believe me. I'm telling you the truth to help me. I never saw this guy before in my life.
Shut up. Speak when you're spoken to.
Oh, Kent, the armored car has arrived to carry that formula to the proper authorities. We'd better go. I'm afraid this is a waste of time.
I think you're right, Captain. These 3 thugs are obviously tools hired by the man who impersonated Dr. Squires. Hardly any doubt that he's been warned that we're on his trail, and our chances of getting hold of him now are pretty slim.
Yes, well, we'll give these birds a further check over later, but I don't believe it'll do any good. Come on.
All right.
Right through here, Ken.
Thanks, Captain.
Yeah, my office is right across the corridor here.
Yes, I know.
Oh, well, hello, Corrigan. You driving the armored car?
Yeah, my back's killing me as usual. My arthritis is acting up and my head feels like somebody's hitting it with a sledgehammer. But I'm driving, as usual.
Nothing can stop you from the performance of your duty, eh, Corrigan?
Nothing as usual. What I do is that bottle of pills. Oh, yeah, here they are. Excuse me, gentlemen. I take these pills for my sciatica. It's bothered me a little, as usual.
Corrigan, this is Mr. Kent, Clark Kent of the Daily Planet.
Oh, glad to know you, Corrigan.
Glad to know you.
I was wondering if you'd object to my going along with you in the armored car.
I certainly do. Yes, sir, I certainly do.
Well, now, Corrigan, I don't think you need worry about Mr. Kent.
I don't need to, and I'm not going to. We take no riders. Them's orders, and I stick to orders.
But Mr. Kent is the one who found this high-explosive formula after it had been stolen.
I don't care nothing about that. All I know is it's my job to take it from one place to another place, and that's what I'm doing. Nobody else rides in my armored car except my buddy. I drive the car, and he sits inside guarding whatever it is we're carrying.
What's wrong?
My sciatica again. Them pills don't seem to do no good. Guess better take a couple more, as usual.
Well, Kent, looks as if you can't go. No, there's no reason why you should really. Corrigan never fails to deliver.
I'd feel a lot safer if you told Corrigan what that formula means.
All right, I will. It's a formula just invented by Professor Palmer Graves for a new type of explosive. There's been nothing like it since the Chinese invented gunpowder. 1 ounce of this stuff would be enough to blow up the Daily Planet building. Yes, we've excellent reasons for believing that certain foreign agents are trying to get their hands on it, you see. You can understand what it would mean, Corrigan, so far as this war is concerned, if they succeeded.
They won't, as usual. Where is the formula?
It's in the wall safe. I'll get it out. I better give you an escort down to the car, too.
I hope you understand the value of what you'll be carrying, Corrigan.
I'm used to carrying valuables, Mr. Kent. Don't let it worry you none. I've been driving that armored car for 25 years and over. I ain't lost a single thing. Where's them pills?
Oh, never you mind the pills. Now, here's the formula.
Just this little envelope?
That little envelope, Corrigan, may mean the winning or the losing of this war, depending on whether you get where you're going.
Oh, stop your fretting, Cap.
All right, you just wait here till I get a couple of men to take you down to the car. I'm not taking any chance. Hello? This is Captain Callahan. Send a couple of men to my office at once, will you? I've got something that's mighty valuable that I want to...
A short time later, escorted by 2 husky policemen, Corrigan carries the priceless formula for a new explosive to the armored car and sets off for his destination. Meanwhile, the Japanese spies have been busy. Knowing the route the armored car will take, they have made certain arrangements. Arrangements that have resulted in a huge truck being stationed at a dark intersection. Seated in the truck's cab are 2 men. Concealed in the rear of the truck are 6 other men armed with machine guns. The 2 men seated in the cab are talking. Listen.
Hey, what time is it?
Almost 2 o'clock.
That armored car ought to be here in a few minutes.
You know what you got to do, don't you?
I ought to. We've been over the whole thing 100 times, ain't we?
Yeah.
Say, how you feel about working for Japs?
How you feel?
Sometimes I feel a little funny, you know? Like I got a conscience.
What's that?
What?
Conscience.
Well, conscience is a thing that feels rotten when the rest of you feels good.
Well, I feel fine.
Me, I feel kind of funny. You know, working for Japs when the country is at war.
Oh, what do you care? You ain't a citizen. You was in store for 6 years.
Yeah, but... Well, I got a conscience.
Forget it.
Yeah, I suppose so. I gotta say one thing for them Japs.
What?
They pay good.
They oughta. Holding up an armored truck ain't peanuts. The boys all set?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we'd better go over what we gotta do.
Nah, it's all you gotta do is drive this truck slam bang into that armored car. Hit it right, you'll turn it over. And then the boys will do the rest.
Well, don't worry. I'm an expert at hitting trucks, so you turn them right over. I wasn't no hijacker for nothing. Why, I remember...
Wait down.
Huh?
Here it comes.
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I see it.
All right. You know what to do. You're on your own. Here she comes. Get started. Okay, let her have it.
With a deafening crash, the armored truck turns over on its side, its wheels spinning madly. What will happen now? Will the Jap agents succeed in getting their hands on the valuable formula? And if they do, can Kent, even as Superman, recover it? Be sure to tune in tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
Fellows and girls, don't ever get the idea there's nothing you can do to help win this war. Of course, we can't all be members of Uncle Sam's Armed Forces because some of us are too young or too old. But that doesn't mean you can't get into this fight. No, sir. Because there's one big important thing we can do. We've got to see that our fighters are supplied with all the bullets and guns and tanks and ships and planes they need to wipe Hitlerism and fascism off the face of this earth. How? By buying all the war-saving stamps and bonds we possibly can. Because every time we buy a war-saving stamp or bond, we lend our government money with which to finance our fight. So remember, talk with Mother and Dad tonight about giving you an extra dime every day or every other day for war-saving stamps. Talk about it with all your friends. Get them to make a pledge with you to buy war-saving stamps regularly.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman.
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. This is Mutual.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellows and girls, as you know, a new war front has been opened by our fighting forces. Welcome newspaper headlines every day, shouts of thrilling news made by our soldiers, sailors, and Marines. American troops are now in the picture with every ounce of their combined strength. They're in there punching for all they're worth, fighting, slashing straight through to victory. And back here at home, we're cheering them on, giving them moral support. But cheers and congratulations are not enough. We, too, must do our job. We've got to help each and every one of us. We've got to pitch in and do what we can to keep the American war effort rolling ever onward until the war is won and the Nazis and Japs are finally and completely defeated. Our job is to see that war industries keep on turning out more and more guns and tanks and ships and planes and all other vital war materials so that our fighting forces can keep on driving toward Berlin and Tokyo. But that costs a good deal of money, more money than you and I could imagine. And that's where we come in. We've got to see that the government has the money with which to finance this war. Now, how can we do that? Simply by buying all the war-saving stamps and bonds we possibly can. By doing without things we would ordinarily want to buy so that the money we'd spend may be used for war-saving stamps. And don't think that each and every dime isn't important. Remember that 10 cents will buy 5 .45 caliber bullets for our fighting men. 5 dimes will buy enough fuel oil to carry one of our destroyers a full mile in chase of Nazi or Jap subs. And just think, if every fellow and girl in the United States were to buy a 10-cent war-saving stamp every day, the total amount would soon buy enough bombers and fast fighter planes to blacken the skies over Germany and Japan. So remember this, it's a good slogan. A stamp a day will pave the way to victory.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Superman now finds himself in a situation which seems to have no solution, and yet he must solve it to prevent great damage to the American war effort. Having discovered that Professor Gray's formula for a new and tremendously powerful high explosive was in the hands of Japanese agents, Superman forced one of the Japs to tell him what had been done with it. He learned that the formula was even then on its way to Tokyo via submarine. Worse still, he learned also that quantities of the explosive had been hidden in the Metropolis bomber plant, one of the largest in the country, and also in the great steelworks just outside Metropolis. Both charges were set to go off at 6 o'clock. As our last episode ended, Superman was flying back and forth inside the huge bomber plant, trying to locate the deadly bomb. Suddenly, Superman realized the hour of doom had struck, for he heard a factory whistle blow.
What's that? No, it can't be. It isn't. Yeah, 6 o'clock. Can't be too late. I must stop those explosions, not only here, but at the steelworks. But I don't see that bomb anywhere. In the walls, in the floor, in any of the machines, in the ceiling. Ceiling. The lights above me. I wonder. Yes, by heaven, there it is, a small package lying in the bowl of one of those chandeliers. Up, and through that chandelier. Now to carry this package into the open air. Must be quick. Through that plate glass window. No explosion yet. There's a clock mechanism inside. I can hear it ticking. No doubt it hasn't reached 6 o'clock yet, but it will any second. Oh! High explosive is powerful. It stung my hand a little. Oh, if only I'm in time. If only I can reach the steelworks before that other bomb goes off. Speed! More speed! Moving with such miraculous speed that he is nothing but a red and blue blur in the night, Superman arrives at the steelworks in several seconds. Hovering over the building, his X-ray eyes pierce the roof, the floor of the factory, searching, ever searching, until, again in seconds, his eyes spot another package in the cellar of the steelworks. Faster than a rifle bullet, he hurtles downward through the roof, through the floor of the factory, and lands in the cellar beside the package. And not a moment too soon, he throws himself sprawling on the package, covering it with his body, and as he does so, the bomb explodes. Oh, that was luck. And now for that submarine off Metropolis. Up, up, and away! Speeding through the gathering dusk, Superman reaches the ocean and crosses out across the darkening waters. His brain working with furious efficiency, he plots the probable cause of the Jap sub from Metropolis to Tokyo, and then down he goes, skimming close to the water, his cape flicking spray from the towering waves, his ears listening for the telltale rumble of submarine motors. And meanwhile, aboard the Jap U-boat itself,
I have brought the general report, Captain.
Excellent. Sit down.
Thank you, Captain.
Begin.
Reckoning our fuel supply by running timer on, we shall have more than sufficient to reach Tokyo safely.
You have taken into consideration the necessity for surfacing and diving again?
Yes, Captain. The engineer's report. Everything working smoothly. Batteries should be recharged as soon as possible.
How far on our course are we now?
104 miles out from Metropolis at the last reading.
And it is now after 6 o'clock. We can surface with safety. You will give the order as soon as you reach.
It shall be done, Captain.
One thing I must make clear to you. I have mentioned this before, but it is so important, I will mention it again. Our efficiency on this trip must be doubled, if that is possible. We must be more alert for dangers than ever before, and avoid them if we can. You know full well the value of the high explosive formula we were carrying. We must get that formula to the War Council at Tokyo.
I understand, Captain. Would it perhaps not be a good idea if you told me where the formula is hidden?
I know. That is sufficient.
But if anything should happen to you...
Nothing will.
I do not wish to insist, but... Well, one cannot foretell what may happen. If you, by chance, were to suffer a heart attack or something more to...
You are right. I had not thought of this. Very well. I carry the formula in a small silver case suspended above my neck.
In a small silver case suspended about your neck?
If anything happens to me, take that case, guard it with your right. That is understood?
Perfectly, Captain. With your permission, I will now leave and give the order to surface.
You may go.
Sashi Nakuma.
Sashi Nakuma.
Gauge reading.
120 feet. 100 feet. 75 feet. 50 feet. 25 feet. Surface.
Motor, stop. Open conning towers. Recharge batteries.
Recharge batteries.
I wouldn't bother if I were you. I'm taking you back to Metropolis.
Sakuri Hata. Who you?
Me, Superman. Take me to your captain at once.
Superman. How you get in here? Where you come from?
Never mind that.
You spirit. Hey, you spirit of bad ancestors. Go away.
Take me to your captain or you'll wish I were a spirit. Go on, lead the way.
Me too. You come. Follow me. Please, not harm this person under that spirit.
Just do as I say and nothing will happen to you.
I do. Here is Captain's cabin.
All right, out of my way, Sukiyaki. You there. Are you the captain of the submarine?
Yes. Who you are?
Never mind that. I want that formula you're carrying to Tokyo.
How you come here?
I followed your sub for miles, and the minute you surfaced, I came aboard.
Radio report not say American ship nearby. I do not understand.
I didn't come on a ship. Now, never mind the questions. Just give me one answer. Where is that formula?
You no get formula. You get killed. Stand where you are. I have gun.
Oh, great heavens, another one. All right, go ahead and shoot your pop gun.
I shoot. You're not hurt?
Well, now that you're satisfied, hand over that formula.
I know.
Now, listen to me. I'm playing for keeps. You've seen that your bullets can't harm me, and you can believe me when I tell you nothing can harm me. But I can harm you. I could kill you with one blow.
You speak truth. I see this.
Now you're talking sense. Let me have that formula.
I get formula for you. Formula in that locker. I get.
Oh, hurry it up.
I make quick.
Well, what's the trouble?
Hard to see inside dark closet. I light match. Look inside dark closet. Find formula.
Wait a minute. Something queer going on here. Wait, what are you doing? Wait.
Too late. I have found formula.
What?
See, strip of paper on floor, now nothing but black ashes.
Why, you...
Have formula in locket around neck. Take formula out of locket. Like match. Poof. It is done.
I ought to... No, perhaps it's just as well. America will win this war as it is. We don't need that explosive. And that formula would only mean the killing of thousands more.
You no have formula now.
No, that's quite true. But neither do you. And that's the main thing. All right, Sukiyaki, we're all going to take a little trip back to the United States.
We in your power. But I no return arrive. I have your knife, fella.
Oh, no, you don't.
Give me knife.
There'll be no harakiri committed, at least not while I'm around.
It is only way for me. My honor.
Honor? The words Jap and honor just don't go together. Pick up that speaking tube and tell your men to head for Metropolis. Do as I tell you, or by heaven
I do. Yakishuba, Nikshuwa, United States, Metropolis. Call. Nikshuwa, United States, Metropolis.
It is done. Fine. Now, just sit back and relax, Captain. There's nothing you can do now. Nothing in the world. Yes? Oh, hello, Chief. What do you mean, what am I doing at home? Well, now, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Chief. All right, but don't you think I deserve a rest after that Japanese business? You got a whole series of articles out of it, to say nothing about scooping every paper in the country. I know, but... You want to talk to me about what? Are you kidding? Oh, but that's fantastic. It's more than fantastic. Well, it just is. Well, okay, if you say so. I'll come right down to the office now. Okay, Chief, be right there. Bye. A forgotten world. Prehistoric monsters. Cavemen. What in the world is he trying to get me into now?
Yes, what in the world is Perry White getting Clark into now? What did Kent mean by prehistoric monsters, a forgotten world, and cavemen? Well, be sure to be with us tomorrow and you'll find out. Yes, and listen every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
And don't forget, fellows and girls, as you read the thrilling stories of American victories on land, on sea, and in the air, just cheering our fighting forces isn't enough. We've got to give them more support. We must show them we're behind them by buying all the war-saving stamps and bonds we possibly can. Now, we've got to sacrifice some of the things we'd like to have so that the money we'd spend can be loaned to the government through purchases of more and more war-saving stamps and bonds. Let's show our boys on the fighting front that here, back home, we're doing our share to win this war by buying a war-saving stamp every time we've got a dime, and by telling our family and friends that this Christmas we'd rather have war-saving stamps and bonds as Christmas gifts rather than the things we can do without. Keep in mind this, a stamp a day will pave the way to victory.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. This is Mutual.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett. Hey, Cadet!
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars. We take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Roaring out of the blackness of the void and circling the planet Mars, the rocket cruiser Polaris completes the first half of a training flight which will prove conclusively whether Astro is a victim of space fever, the most dreaded disease of all spacemen, a disease that will ground the man forever, keep him from ever flying a rocket ship again. Now, as the spaceship is secured on the landing ramp at Marsport, Captain Strong calls his crew to the control deck.
All right, cadets, you can have 4 hours liberty. It'll take the maintenance crew at least that long to repair the Polaris.
Liberty? Oh, brother, just what I was hoping for.
But only 4 hours, Cadet Manning, not a second longer.
Aye, aye, Captain Strong.
You boys can blast off any time you wish. I'll stay on the ship with the maintenance crew.
4 hours, that's a lifetime. Here's where the Martian dolls get a break. How do I look, Tom?
Repulsive, as usual.
I like you, too, Junior. See you later.
Hey, Manning, you mind if I come with you?
Sure, Harvey. You can watch the master operate.
Okay. So long, Tom. I'll be seeing you.
So long, Harvey. You know, Astro, that Harvey isn't a bad guy at all. He was right on the ball when the fire broke out.
Yeah, sure. A real hot shot.
Well, don't take it out on him, Astro. He had nothing to do with replacing you in the unit. Say, have you any plans for this liberty?
Why, Tom? Has Captain Strong told you to keep an eye on me?
Say, what's eating you? You're acting like a spoiled kid. I'm on your side, Astro, remember?
Thanks. But if you don't mind, I'll work things out in my own way. And I don't need any help from you, nursemaid.
Hey, you guys, better step on it. Captain Strong's almost ready to blast off. Get into your fatigue.
Okay, don't rush me, Tom. There's plenty of time.
Enjoy your liberty, Harvey.
Oh, I sure did.
Hey, what about Astro? You fellas see anything of him?
No, not me, Tom.
Me either.
I hope he's all right.
Be great if he misses blast off. That'll be his finish. You'd kind of like that, wouldn't you, Manning?
Huh? Astro, I was getting worried about you.
Why don't you mind your own business? I'm doing all right by myself.
Attention all hands. The repairs to the Polaris are completed. We raise ship in 5 minutes. Take your stations.
Jupiter, I better hurry.
Astro, you better get into your fatigue. You haven't got much time.
That can wait. I'm going up to the control deck. There are a few things I want to straighten out with Captain Strong.
Huh. I wonder what he's up to now.
I don't know. But that 4-hour liberty didn't seem to help his disposition any. Captain Strong?
Huh? Oh, Astro. What are you doing here? You'd better get topside. We raise ship in 5 minutes.
And I'm still a passenger.
I'm afraid so, Astro.
But I came through the last trip without any trouble. Why can't I join the crew now?
Sorry. Your test period isn't over yet.
How long is this test period? Forever?
Now, listen, Astro. I'm getting a little tired of your belligerent attitude. When I think you're ready for duty, I'll let you know. Now, will you please stop bothering me?
Very well, sir. Then I guess this is as good a time as any to let you know. As soon as we get back to Earth, I'm resigning from Space Academy.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by. Spaceman, if you want to talk about rocket ship power, then the man to talk to is somebody like Tom Corbett. He knows plenty about those rocket ship burners. Why, just the other day, he was...
Then to turn the ship, you set the steering vanes inside the rocket tubes and just give the steering rockets a little old blast. Just like that. You know, the cadets need energy, just like a rocket ship does. That's why we help ourselves to plenty of Kellogg's Pep at breakfast time. Then, when we have to turn out for action afterwards, we've got a supply of food energy to call on. Pep gives you the kind of food values a spaceman needs to build strong bones, strong muscle, and healthy teeth. So if you spacemen out there are thinking of joining up at the Academy someday, why, I'd sure suggest that you start eating plenty of Kellogg's Pep, starting tomorrow morning.
That's right, Tom. For build-up food values, and don't forget that swell flavor, too. The cereal you want is Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep. Returning to the Polaris after 4 hours' liberty on the planet Mars, Astro has made an important decision. Now, as the powerful rocket ship is prepared for a blast-off, he reports to the control deck to inform Captain Strong.
That's what I said, sir. As soon as we return to Earth, I'm resigning from Space Academy.
Resigning? Now, wait, Astro. Why don't you think about this a little more?
Well, during the past couple of days, sir, I've thought of nothing else.
I see.
We're ready to blast off, sir. Cadet Harvey's standing by on the power deck.
I'll have the radar bridge warmed up and 2 shakes of the Spacebug's antenna, sir.
Oh, very well, cadets, but before you take your stations, I think I'd better tell you that your shipmate, Astro, intends to resign from the Academy.
Astro, you're kidding.
This is nothing to kid about, Tom.
Wow, now I've heard everything. Mr. Space Academy himself, the guy who waves a flag at me every time I open my mouth about the Academy. Now he's quitting.
That's enough, Manning. One more crack out of you and you'll make this trip in the brig. Now take your station.
Aye, aye, sir.
Astro, we won't discuss this anymore right now. You better go to your bunk and secure yourself for blast-off.
Look, sir.
Yes?
I don't want you to think that I'm a... Well, never mind, sir.
All right. Strap in, Tom.
He's just rattled, Captain Strong. He's been taking a beating ever since the day he blacked out. He didn't really mean what he said.
I think he did, Tom. Well, there's no time to discuss it now. Attention, crew. Prepare to raise ship. Power deck, check in. Full report.
Power deck, aye. Rocket head temperature's normal. Holding standard space speed.
Radar bridge, check in.
Radar bridge, aye. Have cleared Mars orbit, level 3. Just in time, sir. There's quite a storm down there.
Are we on orbit to Earth?
Dead on, sir.
Very well. You come down and relieve Corbett at the controls.
See?
This is still a training flight, Manning. Get down here.
Aye, aye, sir.
Now, Tom. Sir? You take over on the radar bridge. You can use the astrogation experience.
Glad of the chance, sir.
I'll go below and see how Harvey handles himself. Tom, if Astro leaves his bunk, send him down to me, will you?
Are you going to talk to him, sir?
I'll try my best. See you later.
Okay, Junior, you're relieved. Let a real space pilot take over.
Okay, hotshot. I'm handling the radar bridge.
Radar bridge? How about going to see your pal, Astro? You can hold his hand.
Why don't you lay off him, Roger? Do you have to needle him every time you see him?
What's the matter? Can he take it?
He's taken enough, and too much from you.
All right, go on. Blast off.
You just keep your jets plugged.
Yeah. Everybody's getting so blasted sensitive around here.
Hey, Manning, where's Captain Strong?
Why, Mr. Astro, isn't your cabin comfortable? What are you doing here? Maybe you'd like the royal suite.
I asked you where Captain Strong is.
He went below. You must have just missed him.
Thanks.
What do you want him for, anyway? To cry on his shoulder?
I'll write you a letter.
Yeah? You know how to spell the word quitter?
Well, you crummy little spaceworm.
Careful, Astro. You're liable to black out again. But this time, it won't be from space fever.
I'll give you space fever, you...
Astro, panic! Break it up. Break it up, I said.
Sorry, sir. I started.
I don't care who started it. I won't tolerate fighting on my ship. Manning, I'm logging you for this. And as for you, Astro, if you don't take that chip off your shoulder, you'll be confined to quarters for the rest of the trip.
Yes, sir.
Now, pick up that intercom, Manning.
Yes, sir. Control deck, go ahead.
Roger, this is Tom. I've been taking readings of the sun with the infrared octant. And
Something funny is happening out there. I found a sunspot that must be at least 300,000 miles in diameter.
300,000 miles? You're space happy, Tom.
Maybe I am. I'm not the astrogator you are, but my figures aren't that far off. Not only that, but the spot seems to be growing bigger all the time.
You'd better get up there and check that, Manning.
Okay, sir, but Corbett must be seeing spots in front of his eyes.
I hope so, because if he's right, we're running into serious trouble.
Radar bridge control deck. Corbett's figures checked. Also, I've just received communication from Space Academy that the sunspot is sending shockwaves through the solar system. We're in for a space storm.
Attention all hands. Now hear this. We're on our way back to Marsport. Break out your spacesuits and magnetic traction boots and have them near you at all times. I want you to be prepared for any emergency.
Our gyro stabilizer's out.
Hang on. I'll try to control the ship manually. Oh, there. Yeah, that's better. Anyone hurt?
Okay, here, sir.
No damage topside, sir.
Harvey, are you all right?
Just a couple of bumps. That's all, sir.
Now listen, everybody. Our automatic pilot is out. We'll have to operate this ship manually. If the sunspots don't give us any further trouble, we'll manage.
I'll cut her down to half space speed, sir. We may ride easier that way.
It's a good idea, Tom. I'm going below to check the power plant. And tell Astro to come down to the control deck. He'll be safer here.
Aye, aye, sir. Astro, check in. Astro, come in.
What are you blasting your jets about, Tom?
Oh, Astro, I was just trying to get a hold of you. Captain Strong wants you to stay down here.
Okay, so I'm here. Listen, Roger called me a quitter. Do you think I'm a quitter?
Of course not. But why do you want to resign from the academy?
Can't you see what it'd be like if I were grounded? Me nailed to a desk, lorded over by guys like Manning? Tom, I'm a spaceman.
Aren't you a little ahead of yourself, Astro? No one said you had space fever.
Oh, I'm no fool. I can see which way the wind is blowing. Look at this setup. We're in trouble. If the power plant goes before we can get back to Mars, we'll be helpless. But Captain Strong won't even let me get near it. I'm a passenger, just so much dead weight.
Control deck, go ahead.
We're in landing orbit to Marsport, Junior. Get ready.
Okay, Roger. I'll get the skipper up. Control deck to power deck.
Power deck, aye. Captain Strong here.
We're approaching Marsport, sir. Ready to land.
Okay, I'll be right up. Oh, hey, wait a minute. The lights are flickering.
And here, too, sir.
Well, I better stay down here. This power plant may go any minute.
Give me that intercom, Tom. Captain Strong, this is Astro. I can help Harvey on the power deck if you want me to.
No, Astro, stay where you are.
Very well.
Corbett, can you handle the landing yourself?
I'm sure I can, sir.
Right, then. Don't spare the neutrons. We want to get down in a hurry.
Hey, Roger, come in. Give me our heading to...
Hold it a minute, Tom. I was just going to call you. Take a look through the viewport toward Ursa Minor. Get a load of what's coming at us.
Great galaxy. It looks like a space cyclone.
Cyclone in space? You're off your orbit, Tom.
It must be, Astro. That sunspot probably tore some solar atmosphere away. We've got to land before that cyclone hits us and blows us clear out of the universe.
Attention, crew. I'm firing those rockets to start our descent, and I'm not braking the ship until we get to 10,000 feet. Corbett, it's up to you to hold us left.
Aye, aye, sir.
Stand by. We're going in.
Astro, sit here and give me altitude readings.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, right, Tom. Down to 150,000 feet. Look at that cyclone come on.
I don't see how it can miss us.
It isn't going to, fellas. Brace yourselves.
Wow, this is fierce. Are we dropping at all, Astro?
We're at 100,000 feet, but we're being blown way off course.
Roger, what's our position?
The only thing I can tell you is we're still over Mars, but who knows where?
75,000 feet. How in blazes can you hold the ship steady, Tom?
Believe me, Astro, it isn't easy. Take that, will you?
Right. Control deck aye.
Hello, Corbett.
Well, this is Astro, sir.
Astro, what are you doing there?
Tom needed help.
Oh, well, all right. Tell him our power is going fast. Just pray it'll last until we land. If our power goes and we can't fire our braking rockets...
Got it, sir. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
20,000 feet.
Hang on, Astro. Captain Strong, prepare to blast braking rockets.
15,000 feet. 14. 13. 12. 11.
Blast braking rockets full.
Braking rockets full. Start praying, boys.
I don't know where we're landing, sir. We can't see a thing.
It's too late to worry about that. Just hope we land right side up and on some solid ground.
Down to 1,000 feet. We aren't slowing up enough.
Attention all stations. Brace for crash landing. Brace for crash landing.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, Do you have a complete collection of magic moving picture eyes? You know, you can get 16 different magic eyes altogether, each one jam-packed with exciting action. And say, if you get 2 of a kind, you can always trade them with your friends for the ones you don't have. Look for the magic eye that shows you Clyde Beatty, the famous animal trainer. And there's another magic eye with an action picture of a Douglas jet plane. Yes, get all 16 magic eyes. They make swell decorations for belts, hats, and jackets. And remember, you don't mail in for them. You don't even have to wait for them. You get a magic eye free at no extra cost in every package of Kellogg's Pep. That's just about the best bargain you ever had a chance at. A delicious whole wheat cereal with a tempting malty-rich flavor and a magic eye besides. Start your collection today. Get magic eye pictures of trains, planes, movie stars, and sports stars. You'll see them all on a magic eye. And just remember, you get another magic eye free at no extra cost in every package of Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
When a gigantic sunspot sends powerful shock waves throughout the solar system, the rocket cruiser Polaris is caught in a space cyclone. Returning to Mars with its power plant failing fast and visibility zero, the spaceship crash lands somewhere on the surface of the red planet.
Astro, you're right.
I think so, Tom. At least I seem to be able to move everything.
Well, we've landed anyway, and we're still alive. Better see how the others made out.
Hey, the intercom is out.
I'm not surprised. Roger, are you all right?
Sure, no thanks to you. I'll bet Harvey could have landed this crate better.
Well, it's easy to see you're all right.
Roger.
What are you so excited about, Harvey?
Captain Strong is hurt. He's pinned down by one of the reaction tanks, and I can't move it.
Well, come on, let's get down there.
All right, fellas, together now. Lift that. Captain Strong's unconscious. He needs medical care, and in a hurry.
Where are we, anyway? I'll go get a medic.
That's going to be real easy. We've landed smack in the middle of the Martian desert.
Well, here's the bad news, fellas. It'll take hours to get our communication system working. Not only that, our hull is sprung. We've lost our reaction mass, and we're completely without power.
That's great. We're nothing but a dead piece of space junk in the middle of the Martian desert.
If we only knew where those Martian oxygen booster plants are located in this desert, we could get help.
Yeah, but where are you going to look?
I'll go out and try to find one.
Well, thanks, Harvey. I'm afraid we'll all have to go and try it in different directions.
What about Captain Strong?
Astro will have to stay here with him.
Why me, Tom?
Well, that's the way Captain Strong would have wanted it. Besides, Astro, this is a big responsibility.
Yeah, I know.
Well, let's get out of there, fellas. And keep your communicators open.
Don't worry, Astro, my boy. Even with space fever, you can always be a nurse.
Hello, Harvey. Check in. Any luck?
No, not a bit, Tom. There isn't a sign of anything but sand as far as I can see.
All right, keep looking. How about you, Roger? What have you to report?
What have I to report? I've swallowed about 2 tons of sand. I feel like a tropical beach.
Cut it, Rog. Any sign of help?
No, and if you ask me, this is the most space-happy thing we've done yet.
No one's asking you. Keep looking. Astro, come in. How's the skipper?
No change. He's in pretty bad shape.
Well, do what you can for him, Astro. We're going to move farther out into the desert.
Tom. Hey, Corbett, come in.
Yeah. What is it, Harvey?
This wind is too much for me. I can't see a thing.
I know, Harvey. I'm having the same trouble. How are you doing, Roger?
I'm on beat. This wind's blowing like 60, and it's hot as a furnace. Besides, I can't see. The sand's worse than the fog.
All right, I guess there's no use continuing now. We'll have to go back to the ship until this sandstorm blows over.
No sign of Roger, Tom. Astro and I have been watching for him at the airlock.
Doesn't even answer us on the communicator. Blasted. He's had more than enough time to get back to the Polaris.
I want me to go out and look for him?
No, you'll never find him in that sandstorm, Harvey. You'll only get lost yourself. Just stay with Astro at the entrance port and keep trying to contact him.
All right, Tom. Hey, how about Captain Strong? Will you stick with him?
Yes, he seems to be a little better now. Maybe he'll come out of it soon.
Oh, I hope so. Hey, what in blazes? Tom, Astro's disappeared.
What?
He isn't here. He must have gone out to look for Roger.
Why, the space-happy idiot. He'll never find Roger, and we'll be lucky if we ever find him.
It's no use. There isn't even a footprint. Sand has covered everything.
They must be out here somewhere, Harvey. They couldn't have gotten very far. I'm going to keep looking until I find them.
Stick with you, Tom.
Well, come on. Spread out a little more.
The sand is hot.
Yeah.
It's a tough walking up and down these dunes.
Yeah, it sure is. When I think of...
Tom, be careful. You hurt yourself?
No, I just stepped in a soft spot and Hey, Harvey, come over here, quick. I found them. I found them! Captain Strong, it was sheer luck that I tripped over them. They were covered by at least a foot of sand.
You were no luckier than I was to find Roger, Tom.
I guess I was the luckiest. I don't even remember what happened. I was trying to get back to the Polaris, and it was like bucking a wall of wind and sand. The next thing I knew, this Venusian ape was bending over me, and I thought I was having a nightmare.
Well, all I can say, Astro, for a fellow who's supposed to have space fever, you showed tremendous presence of mind and quick action. If it weren't for those oxygen masks and that cover, neither of you would be here now.
I've got the radio working, Captain Strong. I've contacted the oxygen booster station here. They're sending over a first aid crew.
Thank you, Harvey. Well, we'll be getting back to Marsport soon, and then home to Space Academy.
Captain Strong, while I was under that blanket of sand with the wind howling over us and not knowing if I'd ever leave this Martian desert, I had plenty of time to think things over.
Yes, Astro?
Well, I've made up my mind that no matter what the doctors decide, I'll stay at the Academy.
Even if it means becoming an earthworm and flying at desk?
Yes, sir. Even that.
Well, after what you went through today, I'm pretty sure your examinations will prove that you never had space fever.
And, Astro.
Yeah, Roger?
I'm not good at saying these things, but... Oh, blast it, I'm sorry.
Oh, skip it, Raj.
Say, Astro, how did you find Roger, anyhow?
It was a cinch, Harvey. While I was wandering around on the desert, all of a sudden there was so much wind and hot air around me, I knew he had to be near.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Tuesday, when a nearly fatal explosion sends the crew of the Polaris rocketing through the void in search of a missing ship in the strange mystery of the Asteroid of Danger. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast are Jan Merlin, Al Markham, Edward Bryce, and Jack Grimes. Today's program was written by Jack Weinstock and Willie Gilbert, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Begg speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
This program came to you from New York. America is sold on ABC, the American Broadcasting.
everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Here's a buckler. Permit me to refuse the money. Permit me to return to the matter of the Yankee merchandise. Just told you, poet. We sold out our stock of shirts, our ties, our socks. You are the men who have a catch and have saved the Caribbean from Miami. Yes, sir. We're the men who have a catch and have sailed. That's who we are, poet. And it is a simple matter, then. Since you are these men, it is a simple matter. We will make arrangements for the removal of the merchandise. Now, look, Mr. Rene. My name. Permit me. That is my name. Thanks. It's this way, Rene. My understanding of things poetic is a little shaky these days. Mine, too. Yeah, his, too. Are you trying to be clever? Or perhaps it pleases you to tweak my passions? The merchandise. Permit me, but the merchandise. When shall we remove it from your boat? Mr. Rene, I simply have got to explain something to you. It's evident that you're mistaken. We are not mistaken. You have the merchandise. We were saying that Rene a fond farewell, Josh. He needs to keep his head covered from the patient. But it is a matter of... No, you cannot. The merchandise! You cannot refuse them of the merchandise! You cannot! Josh and I walked on. I looked over my shoulder and saw Rene's face become suddenly gray, suddenly old, then a blur fading into the crowd that formed the narrow street. Episodes of the dream trip, cockfight followed by a native poet making calypso on a type of merchandise that didn't exist. Poet. Also dealer in intangibles, souvenir to be stored away. Anecdote to regale the young ladies of New Kensington, Pennsylvania on our return. When the dream money ran out and the place to come back to was New Kensington, PA. But now, unguided tour of Port-au-Prince, and a side street you never believed you'd walk.
No?
Why? What are you thinking about? I was thinking I like it. I like what we're doing. I like where we are. Me too. Yes, sir, me too. It's all around you. It's wonderful. No regret, Josh. You mean we gave up a nice going habit after business and took off? That's what I mean. I talked you into it. No regret, huh? What do you mean? You talked me into it. This idea, this dream, if you will. I will. I remember to this very minute the night it germinated in my brain. We were sitting in the dorm of the good old University of Pittsburgh, stripped to the waist, it being a hot night prior to graduation and a bottle of beer in the hand. And you said, Haiti, someday let's buy a boat, you said. See? You can see it was my idea. Sure it was, Josh. Then you said Haiti. And I said Haiti. Why? The Citadel. What about it? Guess I gotta see it, that's all. The Citadel of Henri Cousteau. Ever since I was a kid, I've been reading about it and wondering... We'll see it. When? That's something I gotta explain to you, kid. A couple of fellas like us, they hit a new country after an ocean voyage. You know, they need time to condition themselves, become acclimated, mingle with the group, meet some... In my reading on the subject of young women of Haiti, I have read that the young women of Haiti are sheltered and circumspect, and a formal introduction arranged by a mutual friend or acquaintance is the etiquette to be followed when a visiting gentleman has the wish... Show me where it says. Why, I just want to make sure you and me... Yeah. Visiting gentleman, that's what. Le Café de Pavillon de Tillon. Now, don't change the subject, right? What? Le Café de Pavillon de Tillon. Translation, Cafe of the Pavilion of the Small Woman. Oh, my. You feel okay? The heat, the excitement of the new... There's a sign over the cafe there. Come on, Josh, let's go get moonstruck. I want to. Oh, my. heard what I said on graduating from the University of Pittsburgh. After me, kid. Bartender. Well, please see you, monsieur. The pleasure presents no problem, bartender. First, we want rum. Oui, monsieur. Right, kid. Let there be hush. Leave the bottle, bartender. We made it, kid. We made the dream. A toast, huh? So here it is. I love you. Definitely, Toussaint, the jeweled bay of Domaine, and to the genre mysteries and the delight of them, and to the jungle mysteries and the delight of them. Hey, you're kind of afraid, monsieur. Then may I propose still another toast? Be our guest. To the young lady who sits there, where, at the time in shadow, and before the fairy sunshine across her cheek. There, you see? I see. Oh, my. Where? I don't see her. Where, Rye? Show me, too. You could look upon her with nearness? I could. I'm just a chap who could. Come then. She has whiskers to me. Bring them to me. Bring the voyageurs to me. Watch her whisper. Well, where? Lady whisper, Josh. That's the call I've been waiting for. What? Bring the bottle, Josh. Oh, now I see it. Oh. I'll bring the bottle. After you, Mr. Pepe. After you, Pepe. The voyageur for whom you have whispered.
Merci, Pepe.
Seat yourself, Miss Bibi, monsieur. Posing near me. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. I'm Josh Ford from New Kensington, PA, and this is my buddy, Ryan Dixon. He's from New Kensington, too. At present, we're retired haberdashers.
I am Bibi, and we've known for the time of our meeting.
Pepe. Howie, you did a splendid job of greeting us. And you no longer have a need for me.
And we no longer have a need for you.
Then I shall make my small departure. No hard feelings, Pepe. It's just... Till another tea. Yeah. Till then. You were lonesome first, Bibi, for both of us.
The moments when meet grow slender. For the purpose of this time I've known for you.
Well, you don't even know us, baby. We live thousands of miles apart in different worlds. How could you... Gosh. You ever been in New Kensington, baby? The University of Pittsburgh? Gosh. What the man's all said.
And for your boat. And the sound of your boat. When you stormed long.
Huh? You talk in puzzles, Miss Baby. I don't...
There's nothing like a broken...
Baby. A poet of your country said merchandise to us. We gave him a buck. It's a tired subject that isn't worth a nickel more.
You've sold it into the other.
We haven't sold a thing. We gave him $1. And I don't mind telling you, the budget we've got worked out for this trip is...
Then it is a matter of more money.
Could be. More money for what, baby?
Haggler. Bargainer.
We're not haggling, lady. All we got on our boat is a few supplies. Some canned fruit juices and cans of dried beef. You want
the
them?
matter will have more money for the merchandise you bought from Yanni. We will pay. And there will be no delay.
Baby, we started out real good together, and suddenly, Josh, how do you tell a beautiful girl she's lousing everything?
Well, we have room at the end of the passageway upstairs. This is where I'm sentry. Please for more money. In 10 minutes, be there. Hello. She moved away from us, and she moved like some uncalling phrase of primitive melody. It took her maybe a half minute to cross the floor and vanish behind a glass-bead curtain that made small songs as she moved through it. That left maybe 9.5 minutes to toast the many things about Bibi that were worth drinking to. And then all that was left was to find out what it was all about.
Room at the end of the passageway upstairs, she said. You know what I think?
No, I don't.
I think you got us confused with somebody else. A couple of entirely different fellows. I said I heard you. Funny you got it, man. Funny. First a native poet, big song and dance about some merchandise we haven't got. Then this Bibi. What merchandise we're supposed to have? Why? Yeah. That noise. It's already happened to us once today. Now it's inside. Hey, that came from down there. That's where... Come on. All right, you and me, Chip.
Yeah.
What lay on the floor wasn't worth looking at. Thin lines of blood crisscrossed Phoebe's face and throat like some abstract design in horror. The new twist on death in the afternoon. Young lady, beautiful young lady, slashed to death by the spurs of a gamecock. The bird jumped to the windowsill and crowed to death once more. A pretty pink and blue sign smiled, "Welcome to Haiti." One thing about being in the haberdashery business in New Kensington, Pennsylvania, is that you've got the world ahead of you. Keep in mind that anything is possible when you finally get to Haiti and come across a beautiful woman slashed to death by a fighting bird bred to kill. Accept it and then run. Like Josh and I did, 3 blocks until a sign said Hotel of 7 Sisters, fans in every room. We paid for one night with fans. The sign wasn't silly. There was a fan. This one you grasped in the hand, waved back and forth under the chin, creating refreshment. And letting the sound of the island drift in through the open window.
Right.
Huh?
We shouldn't have run away.
We're strangers in a strange country, baby. Who knows what we're supposed to do?
Anybody who dies is a concern of...
I'll get it.
Meet me.
Hey, Josh. Look who, the poet. Come in. How'd you find us? I inquired of 2 Americans running in the noonday heat.
Why are you looking for him?
An explanation of the events at the Casa de Pavillon de Tiuna. The killing of the girl Didi was a mistake. She, permit me, what is the hour? Almost 2:30. A good. An excellent time. For a punctual compatriot of mine will arrive in a moment and deal the alternate...
You're doing it again, Rene. You're talking riddles.
Oh, forgive me. Like so. The merchandise you have brought, those about across the water there, the small way across the water. We wait for the ground, so they find a way to purchase human dignity.
Boy!
Huh?
Get the picture? This guy's a revolutionary. Hey, you're a real revolutionary, aren't you? You think we've got guns for a revolution or something? You know what they're going to say in New Kensington? They're going to...
Josh. Renee, what about the girl? Why did that beautiful girl have to die like that? Unfortunate. Like so. She was killed because, the competitor whom we are expecting. Well, tell them it's like so. Somebody's got our boat mixed up with somebody else's, huh?
Hello, Renee.
Renee. He's dead. My intention. Quickly now, come. Now listen here. Or you will lie down beside this man, also dead. Quickly. Where are we going? Quickly. I asked you. Pistol barrels, lacerate so. Now, quickly. The front sight of his gun had cut my cheek, and there was nothing to do but put my hand to it. He trotted us outside. The man in goatee, U.S. Army surplus, and German Luger into a waiting cab. Unhappy driver looked at my cheek and then at the upholstery and then shrugged about the whole thing.
You better take us somewhere where you can get a cheek attended to,
said my friend Josh. Sure. Was the stir my friend Josh created. In a while, the bleeding stopped. We got out in a part of Haiti where it was no longer Port-au-Prince, where it became the apron of jungle around the city. A mansion of columns and glazed brick and flamingos looking coy behind royal palms. A butler in knee breeches told us we were late, that everybody was in the auditorium. A private theater, gentlemen, that you may watch if you wish. I'll tell Etienne you're here.
Etienne? Who's he?
You try to make a break from here, you'd be shot down before...
What kind of name is that? Etienne?
In there. Voodoo. Made a damn patient time.
Gentlemen, I wouldn't be that impressed, as you appear to be, I mean. They're all of them professional dancers, $20 each for the performance. Who are you? Etienne? Yes. Is he sleeping? You're the man who can tell us. About BB, about René. It's about guns. It's all a mistake. I know. Somebody got our boat mixed up with... I know. Here. Now. What's the matter? Why are you looking so unhappy about? How to tell you what I must. It'd be crazy if we tried to run, wouldn't we? Oh, yes. You'd be shut down. Like the port was. With more sadness. You are innocent, you see. René was not. Oh. An enemy, as also was the girl. They have their cars, we have ours. And both of you after the gun. We have them. They came on another boat, not yours. What am I supposed to say? Use them in good health? It's just that nothing like this. Well, we don't know what... You don't realize what's happening to you now, do you? A little bit. The sliced cheek I have. Yes, that's an indication. The reason, of course, I haven't offered your physician or even iodine should be coming apparent now. Correct me. Josh and I know there's a thing about guns. About a revolution coming up close by. Also, about 2 murders. And you can't let us go. I don't mind telling you. I am a patriot. Murder is necessary, it seems. It goes with the word. We will have to take you far away. And you must be lost forever. Please try to understand. It was grave too soon. And the door opened. Some men walked in. The man who had picked us up at the hotel and 2 others, also looking grave, also looking concerned. Tight-fitting dark suits, so tight you could almost tell the caliber of guns above his name. He went in on a boat ride. A boat called Bumba. Look there. The citadel floating on a sea of tropic moon. The citadel of Henri Christophe. Ever since I was a kid, Ryan. Ever since you were a kid. You admire our citadel? Listen, Etienne. So? The citadel is practically all we came to see in Haiti. We're getting a fine view now. Really, all of it we want. So why don't you say the word to turn this boat around? There is saying the dead outside. Now, look. And yours will be privileged. You will die a hero's death in the cause of human dignity. Human dignity? The poet used the same word. On opposite sides, and both of you using the same slogan. Regretful. Only. Joyeux. Tahiti. Both of you now onto the ground. And this is where... Quickly. Move quickly. Friend, if you didn't have that gun, I have it. Straight ahead. One thing I'd want before this is over. It's to us through the citadel. Yeah. Josh. We can't just let them shoot us down and leave us here to rot in a sinkhole like this. You think we ought to make a break for them? I would say so. Listen, just before we hit that clearing up ahead. You there! You two! If you are discussing running away, you will be shot like pigs. Why? I still think we ought to try. Right now? Right. Ankle deep in the sticking waters was the man we had seen before, Pepe. A man in the bar called the Pavilion of the Small Moon. A man who had taken us to beating. You recognize me, I can tell. A bandolier of bullets over his shoulder, the snout of his submachine gun sniffing a circle at our belt buckle. But Ken, the others who had brought us here, face deep in the mud. A brown marsh water washing their blood away slow. Very slow. Eventually I knew they had to come here, where the guns are cached. See, those cases. The gun, the cause of everything. Oh, yeah, we're glad to see you. Truly? I don't like the way you said that. What do you have in mind? These are my slain.
they were going to kill you, correct?
They said it wasn't because we'd been nice to Bibi and the poet, but because...
You were nice to them?
Well, sure.
My heart is filled with kindness for you both, for they were my friends.
I asked you something. What'd you have in mind?
Surely you know. You must die. Word must not leak out of what happened here. This of the guns, this of the killings. Right?
Yeah. Listen, you.
Oui?
A favor.
Huh?
My friend here, all he wants to do is take a look at the Citadel.
Hey, May, there it is. Look.
My friend here, he wants to take a look up close. This was his dream trip, the Citadel of Henri Christophe, his dream place.
I see. Oh, oui.
Crazy monument built by a crazy king.
You see all those cannons pushed through those embrasures?
That's these steps.
You see all those cannons, Ron?
What about them?
Not one ever fired. You know what else?
What else, Josh?
This was built on an exact line with the Great Pyramid of Egypt and the Great Pyramid built by the Mayas of Central America.
That way.
Enough. Look down. Christophe used to force his slaves to jump from this spot. He enjoyed their screams. Will you scream?
I don't think so.
Good. Please do not believe I am vile, messieurs. You were unlucky enough to stumble on this small wall. Neither side can afford your staying alive. Pity.
Some pity.
Now, alive or dead from a bullet. Jump.
Now, hold it a second. One more word with my friend. Josh.
What do you want?
All of it. Your fault.
Mine?
Leaving the business, the boat, Haiti, all of it.
How can you talk like that?
And the Citadel, what is it? Brick and mortar. Hope you get a nice view of the East Wing on the way down. You know what you are?
What?
A child, a bird brain of a child.
You're not going to talk to me like that.
Square stud kicking knucklehead.
Why, you miserable... You gotta do
Miss American, fine before you die.
Hey, what's out there?
Why, grab him, Right? Right? Yeah, I'm okay. You?
Okay. What about him?
You tie him up, leave him, I don't know, something.
All right.
What?
You see that over there?
What over there?
That flag.
Well, what about it?
That's Henri Christophe's tomb. He was buried there. Everybody was killed. Right over there. Something, isn't it? Really something. Boy.
Escape has brought you Night of the Guns, a story written and directed by David Friedkin and Morton Fine. Featured in the cast were Herb Ellis, Byron Kane, Jack Tushin, and Jay Novello. Also heard were Lillian Baeff, Shep Mencken, John Daner, and Paula Pascal. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You're all adrift in a native canoe somewhere off the Solomon Islands. Ahead of you are the unknown terrors of native savagery. And closing in on you is the white man whose gunboat will smash you to the bottom of the sea.
So listen next week when Escape brings you John Russell's story, The Price of the Head.
Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy have descended into a canyon on Venus to rescue a wounded space pilot. As they reach the injured man, a flash flood roars down the river, piling water up behind the dam above them.
We got to get him out of here quickly, Happy. The water's rising fast. Once we get into the ledge, we shouldn't have any trouble carrying him to the top. It's a landslide. Just close to the dam. Keep your head down. Smoking rockets. That was close. We got to get him up the path. There may be another landslide. Commander, look up there. Most of the ledge is swept away. We're trapped.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Mysterious Meteor. Do you hear that, gang? That's the Terra Express train trying to get up speed on ordinary fuel. Not very speedy, is it? But now listen to that same train with super fuel in its tank. Yes, sir, that train's really traveling now because it's supercharged with super fuel. And, gang, without a good breakfast, you can't go very fast either. But with super fuel in your tank, you're supercharged. Here's how Buzz Corey gets up a head of steam in the morning. He has a good breakfast with Rice Chex or Wheat Chex, the super cereals that help to supercharge you. For taste, they're terrific. And for size, they're perfect because they both have that modern bite-sized design. So, gang, get off to a quick start in the morning the way Buzz Corey does. Get supercharged. Just eat a good breakfast with the Checkerboard Super Cereals. And get them today in the red and white Checkerboard packages. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. One of the 30th century's greatest achievements has been the transformation of barren desert areas on the planet Earth into rich, fertile farmlands. Buzz, Happy, and Major Robertson are in one of those regions now, completing inspection of a new spaceport at the Arizona city of New Arcadia, center of a thriving agricultural district. While Robbie is finishing up a few details in the city, Buzz and Happy have taken a surface car for a drive out in the country.
Commander, look at that. Another meteor. Must be fairly low in the atmosphere. Hey, it must be a whopper, too. Wow, did you see that?
It got so hot it exploded.
And what a flash. It lit up the whole countryside.
Quite a show.
I never saw one like that before. Oh, look, there's another one.
The Earth must be passing through a meteor shower.
Hey, it looks like it's coming right at us.
When this one explodes, it'll make quite a display.
It better explode pretty quick before it hits. Hey, Commander, it looks like it's headed right for the city. Commander, it hit. It landed right in New Arcadia.
Well, they're pretty deceptive, Happy. It could have struck several miles beyond. You'd better get into town. If it did land there, it would be a terrible catastrophe.
We're getting close, Commander. There's a whole area roped off up there. And the people are jammed around it.
We'll have to stop here and get out, Happy. We can't get through the crowd with this surface car.
Hey, look. There's Major Robertson.
Commander, I'm glad you're here. What happened, Robbie? A meteor landed right in the middle of the park. Anybody hurt? No, by a lucky chance. But a few people got showered with dirt, and a couple of hundred got the scare of their lives.
Well, how big is the meteor?
It's hard to tell. Dug a crater about 20 yards wide. The meteor's way down in the bottom of a deeper pit, glowing and red hot. Let's get through this crowd and have a look. Right, Commander. All right, make way, please. Stage patrol coming through.
What a crowd.
Oh, there she is.
Hey, it looks like a huge red eye.
We don't know how large it really is. Part of it's buried by the dirt that fell back into the pit. Look at the size of the crater, Robbie. A miracle it landed where it did. A very lucky miracle. Well, they're bringing up the Tomo power shovel now.
Well, aren't they going to wait until it cools off before they try to pull it out?
Professor King wants to encourage her to make some tests. Professor King? Yes, sir. Professor James King, the meteorite expert.
Hold that right there. Hold that.
That's the professor shouting at the shovel operator. Professor King's been lecturing at the university here. Oh, I recognize him now. I met him a couple of years ago on Mercury.
Well, apparently he's seen you. Here he comes.
Commander Corey, isn't this most fortunate?
Hello, Professor. Yes, it is fortunate. It could have been a terrible calamity.
Exactly. If I had followed my usual custom, I would have been home in my study. But something urged me to go for a stroll. And I was only half a block from the park, and this green streak rolled out of the sky.
I was thinking it might have killed someone.
That would have been tragic, of course. But think of it. A rare meteor falling right at my feet, so to speak. Commander, do I have your permission to test it?
Of course.
Thank you. I already examined it for radioactivity.
How does it test?
It's rather high, but not unusually so for an object that has spent millions of years in outer space.
It's not dangerous, then?
Oh, no. Except that right now it's rather hot from the friction of the atmosphere. The shovel operator is going to scoop away some of the dirt so I can check its size. Would you care to watch?
Of course, Professor King. Oh, by the way, this is Cadet Happy.
How do you do, sir?
Glad to know you, Cadet. Your first meteor?
Well, not quite.
Happy's had quite a few experiences with meteors in space.
Oh, of course.
Now, here comes the first scoop.
Get back! The meteor exploded.
No, it didn't. It's still glowing.
Yeah, but look at the shovel.
I mean, look where it was. That huge scoop is gone. The cables are just hanging there.
What could have caused it, Professor?
I don't know, Commander. The meteor is hot, but not hot enough to melt a steel shovel. To say nothing of exploding one.
It's a wonder we weren't hit by the hot metal.
Professor, you'd better leave that meteor alone till we get this crowd cleared away.
Yes, Commander, you're right.
Robbie, have the local patrol keep everybody out of the park except the professor and men on official duty.
Yes, sir.
Professor, I suggest you get an endurium scoop on that power shovel. You better wait till that meteor cools off a little more.
Good suggestions, Commander. I'll follow them.
Robbie, put a guard around the crater. I don't know what we've got here, but this is no ordinary meteor.
It's going to be a hot day, Commander.
Yes, it was cool last night. I hope the meteor has lost most of its heat.
Oh, I see Professor King is already at the crater.
With his power shovel and a lot of paraphernalia, it seems.
Good morning, Commander.
Good morning, Professor.
Well, I made a few tests.
What did you find out?
The object has cooled considerably, although it's far too hot to touch.
I wouldn't advise touching it at all till we know a lot more about it.
I managed to make a spectrographic analysis of it. It seems to be of ordinary meteorite composition, chiefly iron and nickel. The colors show a fair percentage of cobalt, copper, magnesium, and the common gases.
Did you find anything to account for what happened to the steel scoop?
No. There were no unusual elements present. At least none have shown up. Commander, I'd like to dig that meteor out and have it shipped to Terra for a thorough test.
It might be a pretty heavy load for a spaceship.
Oh, I didn't think so. I was able to make some magnetic detection tests. There isn't much more of it underground. It should only weigh about 500 pounds.
Hand me that case, Happy. Before we start that endurium shovel, Professor, let's make a few simple tests.
What kind of tests?
We saw what happened to that hard steel last night, so I brought a few small samples of different metals. I thought we might toss them down on the meteor and see what would happen.
Excellent idea.
Let's go down into the crater a little farther.
Aye.
Not too close, Happy. We can hit it from here.
Yes, sir.
Now, here's a piece of steel. Try that first.
Right, Commander. I hope my aim is good. It's gone. Vanished.
Fragment disintegrated.
From here, looks like it chipped a piece out of the meteor.
What'll we try next?
Here's a lump of nickel, Happy.
Okay. The rockets, that's gone, too. Well, Commander, if it destroys everything that touches it, well, why doesn't it just sink into the ground?
Apparently, it doesn't disintegrate soil. Now, try this piece of endurium.
All right, sir. Hey, nothing happened. The endurium is just lying there on top of the meteor.
Well, now at least we know we can dig the meteor out with an endurium shovel.
Yes, but don't forget, if you're going to move that object, it'll have to be packed in an endurium box.
That's right. Well, we'll need a box about 3 feet thick on each side, perhaps a little thicker, just to be sure.
Good idea.
Oh, I can hardly wait to get it to my laboratory on Terra, so that extensive tests can be made.
Well, you better not try it with any expensive instruments.
It's going to be a difficult object to handle, all right.
Professor, we'll leave you now. Happy and I have got to get back to the local Space Patrol headquarters and clean up a few details.
No, Commander. Thank you both for your help.
I'll have one of my men get a truck and an Endurium crate. Professor, I'd like to see you at Space Patrol headquarters before you go.
Commander.
Come in, Professor.
Well, I'll get you a chair, Professor K.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Well, not at all. Won't you sit down? Have any trouble with your metal-eating monster?
No, it's packed in an Endurium crate with another ordinary crate around that. And it is now at the new Arcadia spaceport.
So you're ready to go to Terra and solve the mystery?
Commander, I think I have already solved it.
Do you know what makes it destroy steel and nickel?
Well, that meteorite will destroy any substance that it contains within itself.
But how? Other meteors don't do that.
Dr. Rawlins and I have come to the same conclusion. We believe this meteor is matter in reverse.
Matter in reverse?
Yes. Matter entirely foreign to our part of the universe. It may have come originally from a galaxy millions of light years away, where matter was formed in an entirely different way.
But you said it appears to be iron and nickel and other substances with which you're familiar.
Yes, that's how it appears. But the atomic structure of each element is in exact reverse. Matter in our solar system has atoms with negatively charged electrons whirling around a positive nucleus.
And this meteor has a negative nucleus with positive electrons.
Exactly. For years, scientists have speculated about the possibility of such matter. Now we know it exists. Perhaps whole galaxies are made of.
But I still don't see why it destroys other metals.
That's only half of the story, Cadet. Part of the meteor is destroyed, too, in another form of atomic explosion. The two forms of matter cancel each other out.
They neutralize each other.
Precisely. Atom for atom. Commander, if we can learn to duplicate that process, we're on the threshold of a new era.
Excuse me, Commander.
Oh, Major Robertson.
Yes, Robbie?
I'm glad the professor's here, sir. There's been a mix-up at the spaceport. That meteor was put aboard the wrong spaceship.
What?
Well, there's nothing to be upset about. Freight dispatcher traced it. It's aboard a cargo ship carrying mining equipment to Venus.
Commander, we have to overtake that ship.
I know, Professor. Robbie, if that meteor should come in contact with a large body of iron or steel, such as a building, it would cause an explosion that would kill or injure everyone around it.
We'll be back with Space Patrol in just a moment. Gang, here's the story of a cosmic surface car in trouble. Listen. The trouble, it's got nothing to go on but ordinary fuel. But you hear that? The driver's filling up the tank with some super fuel. Something's going to happen now. Boy, that cosmic surface car is really roaring. That's because it's supercharged with super fuel. And the same is true with you, gang. What happens when you don't have a good breakfast? You're just a putt-putt. But when you fill up your tank with super fuel, man, you're supercharged. Here's how Buzz Corey does it. He eats a good breakfast with the checkerboard super cereal, Rice Chex, or Wheat Chex. Wait till you taste them, gang. Boy, are they good. Flavor galore in every crisp, bite-sized biscuit. So, gang, get going. Eat a good super cereal breakfast and get supercharged. Get the super cereals today, Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. While Buzz, Happy, and Major Robertson were in Arizona on the planet Earth, a strange meteor hurtled out of the sky and buried itself in a city park. Attempts to dig it up resulted in steel digging tools being disintegrated in a blinding flash. So far, only the metal Endurium has resisted the strange destructive force. It's now believed that the meteor is composed of matter with reversed electrical charges, matter from outer space that can destroy matter as it's known in our solar system. By mistake, the Endurium crate containing the meteor was put aboard the wrong ship. Right now, Buzz and Happy are aboard the Terra 5, racing to overtake the cargo ship carrying mining equipment and the strange meteor to Venus.
Happy, keep the freighter in the view scope.
Yes, Commander. Hey, if he's headed for Venus City, he's losing altitude pretty fast.
That's been worrying me, Hap. I'll contact him again by spacerphone. Menacori aboard Terra 5 calling cargo ship EC-349. Menacori to pilot Bill Craig aboard cargo ship EC-349.
Craig here. Go ahead, Commander.
I was just wondering why you're coming in so low.
I wanted to tell you, but I've been too busy to call, Commander.
I'm sure you know your business, but those Porlock Mountains aren't exactly anthills.
You bet they aren't. Believe me, I'd enjoy being about 3 miles higher.
Having trouble with your ship?
Yes, sir. I came into Venus atmosphere on automatic trajectory control, and the control's out of adjustment. Looks like I'm going to have to set down outside the city somewhere on repeller aid.
You don't sound very worried.
Should I be?
Well, you know your ship.
Commander, exactly what am I carrying aboard this ship? Why is everything so mysterious?
I'll explain it later, Craig.
I wish somebody would. All Space Control told me is that something was put aboard my ship by mistake. You'd meet me at Venus City Spaceport and supervise its removal.
We didn't want to cause you any undue alarm. The fact is, you've got something very dangerous aboard.
Explosives? Don't worry, I've hauled some pretty ticklish stuff in my day.
You've never hauled anything quite like what you have aboard now. Everything will be all right if you just set her down easy.
Okay, Commander. Look, right now I don't think I can get above that Turlock range. If I can get any power out of the rockets, I'll deflect a few degrees and head up the canyon.
Oh, he must be in a car.
Do you have any rocket control at all?
A little. Enough to maneuver between those mountains.
All right, Craig. Good luck. We'll be watching. Corey out.
I hope we can reach a broad level space to set her down.
I hope it does, too, Hap. Keep an eye on him through the view scope.
Yes, sir. Sir, why didn't you tell him he was hauling a wild meteor?
No sense wasting time explaining. He knows he has a problem.
Yeah, I guess you're right. He made it, Commander. Yeah, he's headed up the canyon. I guess he's okay now.
Let's hope so.
Hey, his speed's dropped way down, sir. He's losing altitude.
Corey aboard Terra 5 calling Bill Craig.
Craig here, go ahead.
How you doing?
Canyon widens out into a valley beyond Crescent Dam. I think I'll be okay when I pass there.
All right, Craig. When you find a good spot, ease her down carefully.
Right, sir. Craig out.
Oh, he's pretty cool about it, I'll say that.
He's a skilled spaceman, Happy. He's going to need all the skill he's got.
There's the dam up ahead.
Getting awfully close to that canyon wall.
Yeah. He isn't going to clear the dam by more than a few... He hit the side of the hill.
The ship's skimming along that shoulder. It'll only hold together.
Oh, rockets, Commander. I can't look. Did he hit the dam?
Not quite. It's a bad crack up. It broke the hull open. It's hanging over a rock halfway down the side of the canyon.
At least the meteor didn't explode.
The seal on the Endurium crate must have held fast. We'll set the ship down on that flat stretch on the other side of the dam and get to Craig as quickly as possible. From the looks of that sky, there's an ammonia storm brewing.
Hope it holds off until we get Craig. Climbing is no cinch, Commander. This terrain is rough.
A few more feet and we'll be even with the top of the dam.
Anything yet, sir?
You can see part of the wreckage from here, but no sign of Craig. Come on, Happy. We've got to hurry.
Feel that wind. Wow, that storm is roaring down the canyon a mile a minute.
Better work fast, Happy.
Commander, look. Some of the cargo's spilled out of the ship and rolled down into the water.
Yeah. One of the crates has smashed open.
Yeah, I hope the meteor didn't roll into the water.
That looks bad. The hull is smashed right near the pilot's compartment.
I hope Craig is all right.
Let's work our way down into the ship.
Commander, look. Isn't that a man down there at the edge of the water?
It's Craig. Must have been tossed out of the ship.
He sees us. He's waving.
He's hurt. Come on. Hurry. Watch your step. It's steep through here. Happy, there's a ledge that slopes right down to the dam. A couple of crates stopped there.
Sure. It leads right up to that ladder on the dam, near the gate.
Now, let's head for it.
Sure lucky we trailed Craig into Venus instead of going on ahead to meet him at Venus City.
All right. Hey, look at that water level. There must be a flash flood up the canyon.
Smoking rockets.
Nearly up to where Craig's lying. Rising fast. Got to get him out of there. Now, take it easy climbing over that Endurium crate, Happy. That's the meteor.
Hey, the seal's broken. The meteor's part way out of the crate.
We're in luck. Fortunately, none of those pieces of machinery came in contact with it. All right, let's climb down the face of the dam. Watch that ladder. It's going to be slippery. have you out of here in a few minutes, Craig. Here, Happy, help me lift him to his feet. It's my right leg. I didn't mind the ship crashing, but bouncing down the mountain like a rubber ball was pretty rough.
Can you put any weight on that leg, Craig?
I'll try. I think I can make it. I'd put your arms over our shoulders. Rest most of your weight on it.
How do we get him up over the dam, sir?
The tough part will be the ladder. From there on, we can work back up the ledge and zigzag to the top. Yeah. I figure I can make it with a boost now and then. All right. Start up the ladder. Okay. It's okay. I can make it.
Look at that water. It's rising fast.
A landslide. Press close to the dam. Keep your heads down.
Fucking rocket. That was close.
Look at that. If you men hadn't come for me, I'd be buried under several tons of dirt right now. Let's get out of here. There could be another landslide.
Commander, look up there. How are we going to get out? The landslide has swept away most of the ledge.
That's right. We can get as high as the sluice gate, but from then on, it's sheer wall. Let's get up to what's left of the ledge. We'll be out of the water at least. All right, Craig, get on the ledge. Okay. All clear. Go ahead, Happy.
There. All right, sir. Here, I'll give you a hand.
Thanks.
Gee, look at the water now. It's halfway up the ladder.
Yeah. And look back up the canyon. It's streaming down at big waves.
Commander, do you think it'll come as high as the ledge?
Look at the water mark of the previous one. Comes this high because of the sluice gate.
Wow.
Even if the water doesn't come over the ledge, we're stuck here. If that sluice gate will only open, we go through the spillway to the other side of the dam. There's a ladder on that side, too. I saw it coming up.
How can we get it open?
The spillway to the other side of the dam. There's a ladder on that side, too. It's operated by remote control from a station far down the valley.
Hey, maybe they'll open the gate.
Yeah, by that time, it won't do us any good. See that line painted 10 feet over the gate? The water has to reach that level before the flood warning sounds. He's right, Happy. Looks like I led you fellas into a trap. I've only managed to get the ship over the dam. Well, it isn't your fault, Craig. Well, I suppose we might as well sit down on the crates and relax.
I'd be careful of my feet if I were you, Craig. Don't let the metal in your boot buckles hit that meteor.
Meteor? What are you talking about?
There's a meteor in that crate. That's what we were worried about. If certain metals touch it, they explode.
Craig, get off that crate. Huh? Quickly, Happy. Give me a hand to that meteor.
What do you mean, sir?
Let's get this meteor rolling down the slope of the ledge.
Into the water?
No, toward the dam. If it gets up enough speed, it might crash into that sluice gate. Sure, but will it be going fast enough to knock that gate out?
Well, no, sir. Hey, Commander, that gate is solid steel.
Exactly.
Hey, solid steel, like the first power shovel scoop. Okay, Commander, I get it.
Craig, get over behind that other crate. If this works, it's going to be quite an explosion. Careful, Happy. Remove your cadet ring.
Yes, sir. It'd be a pretty painful way to find if the meteor has platinum in it. Hey, this thing is sure hard to move.
After we get it rolling, it won't be so bad. At least it's lighter here on Venus than it was on Earth. Watch your feet.
We've got it rolling, sir.
Quickly now. Get behind the Imperium crate.
Hope it doesn't wobble off into the water.
Craig, keep your head down.
It worked. There's a great big hole in the sluice gate.
Come on, let's get off this ledge. It's a spillway. Yeah, let's get through before the water does.
Hey, Commander, can you see through the dam to the valley? There's our ship.
Now, that's a beautiful sight.
Commander, what about Professor King? What's he going to say?
I'm afraid the professor will have to be content with telling another story about the big one that got away.
An exciting preview of next week's thrilling Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. But first, gang, here's something that's more fun than anything you ever owned. Something that rates as the biggest value we have ever offered. Something new, different, exciting. I'm speaking of that wonderful new thrill, Space Patrol Space Binoculars. I call it a wonderful new thrill because this amazing piece of Space Patrol equipment makes it possible for you to see houses, buildings, cars, and people way off in the distance. Yes, sir, when you look through your Space Patrol Space Binoculars, you can see what's going on blocks and blocks away. And when you look through your Space Binoculars, you don't even have to hold them. No, sir, they have a strong elastic band that holds them snugly to your eyes. Makes you look like somebody from outer space, because when you wear your binoculars, they stand out from your eyes a full 3.5 inches. Well, that's right. I'm not talking about flimsy little goggles or a mask. I'm talking about real, honest-to-goodness 4-power binoculars with 4 pure lucite lenses. The real McCoy, in other words. Real binoculars. They're made of solid black plastic, and they have a bright red leather-like trimming that makes them look terrific. Overall, space binoculars are 5 inches wide, 5 inches long. And boy, oh boy, the fun you can have with them. You can see who's coming up the street. You can read signs way off in the distance. You can spot planes in the sky. And you can name the kinds of cars you see blocks and blocks away. And hey, when you look through the other end of your space binoculars, they smallify. Yes, sir, they do the opposite. Instead of making far-off things look close, they work the other way around. They make close things look far away. Lots of fun. Now, gang, to get a pair of these space binoculars, a pair exactly like Buzz Corey wears, do this. And, boy, you better do it quick because this offer soon ends. Just buy a box of Instant Ralston. Then, with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and an Instant Ralston box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. Gang, if you don't think your space binoculars are tops, send them back and we'll return your money. The address again, Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are on the 3rd moon of Jupiter in their spacesuits, attempting to pull Major Robertson out of a crevice into which he's fallen. Buzz has lowered Happy into the crevice where thousands of beetle-like insects are swarming, impervious to the cold and lack of atmosphere.
Lower me a couple more feet, sir. Doggone these bugs. That's it, sir. Loop the rope under the Major's arms, Happy. Just a minute, sir. While I brush off some of these insects. Some of them just won't brush off. They're awful. They're on my suit, too. Yes, and all over the Major's. Commander, they're eating through our spacesuits. We gotta get the Major out of there and get back to the ship. If these insects puncture our suits, we're finished.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Moon Beetles, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Norman Jolly, Ken Mayer, and Bela Komach. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.